coverage of the 51st Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta and the 66th Gordon Bennett Coupe Aeronautique. It's Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by ExxonMobil. And now, direct from the rooftop studio at Balloon Fiesta Park in Albuquerque, New Mexico, here are your hosts, Glen Moyer and Lloyd Jr.
Good morning, everybody. You are looking live at Balloon Fiesta Park. Some of you are here live, well, at least semi, for the day two. I'm one of the semi. For day two of the 51st Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, powered by ExxonMobil. And you're looking at Balloon Fiesta Live. If you're viewing us online, I'm Glen Moyer, here for my 34th year, I think. And as always, joined by my far more effective producer and co-host, Lloyd Jr. I hope you're more awake than I am this morning.
I think I'm there, although it was a really short night, as I had a lot of work to do after the show last night.
I can imagine. It was a short night for me. In fact, I overslept my alarm, so I'm not quite with it yet this morning, but I made it to the stage on time.
You did.
So that's what counts.
That's
hey, it's going to be another great day, though. I mean, what a day we had yesterday. Was that awesome? And night. I mean, it was a long, long day and evening.
We were on the air almost 9 hours yesterday.
Yeah, I'm feeling every bit of it.
Feeling it today? Yeah. But what a great night it was with the Gordon Bennett launch and followed by the fireworks and everything that was happening last night.
Super glow last evening. Our Twinkle Glow went really well, and the Dawn Patrol, the drone show that we have both morning and evening versions of now. We just saw the morning version. And ladies and gentlemen, on screen and out on the field, of course, you can see the Dawn Patrol balloons getting inflated now. Dawn Patrol is presented, as always, by the Route 66 Casino Hotel, and they're going to put on a spectacular show for us this morning. So I'm going to have another cup of coffee or hot chocolate or something, I hope, and try to get my wits about me. My goodness.
Already have talked to our weather folks this morning, and they're telling me it's going to be another great day. We anticipate the green flag up about 7 o'clock. Sunrise shortly after that. We'll have our balloon of the day. We'll have another mass ascension. I didn't get a chance to ask about a box or not. We'll have to figure out what happens.
Well, maybe Dawn Patrol will show us that.
That's one of the things that we'll see once they get up in the sky.
Absolutely.
And so we'll continue to keep an eye on Dawn Patrol and see what's happening there. In the meantime, we can take a really quick update on the Gordon Bennett.
Gordon Bennett, yes.
So if you were watching last night, they kind of went out right at the ground. They kind of moved a little bit west, but they only got a couple hundred feet up, and they turned north. And they got up to basically Bernalillo, which is maybe 10 miles to the north of here, and they made a right turn.
Hooked a right. And went right around the mountains.
Exactly. It's just
right through the pass.
Right through. It was kind of, it's not the pass. Yeah.
Well,
around the north side of the mountain.
To me, it's a pass.
It's a big pass on the north side.
If you can get around the mountain, it's a pass.
Which is really what's happening. And there you see the map coming around there. And so then after that, they kind of all started splitting apart just a little bit. And we can see that they continue to move on an easterly track. Very typical pattern here, although kind of slow because they're not too far east of us at this point.
Yeah, well, and looking at the map, I can see that USA 1 was probably saying Tucumcari tonight.
Yeah, except that they're going to make it by noon.
Well, yeah, they will.
Yeah. So basically out there about Tucumcari, if you've driven in on I-40, you know what we're talking about. It's Santa Rosa's down in there as well. So
yeah, actually they're a little bit north of I-40. It looks like.
Yes, yeah, they're a little bit north of that. And there's already so you got the two-way out in front. Then there's a whole pack that's a little farther south, and then there's a couple that are kind of lagging a little bit behind. You see, they went a little farther north. And before they started hooking back around those two red ones up there, let's
see, Austria 2 and USA 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I see USA 3 is about the same, about even with USA 2, but they're down south.
Yeah, much farther south.
Yeah.
So we talked about this before the race. We said this is going to be a very strategic race, being that there's not just a clear get to this altitude and go.
Right.
So they're all going to be talking to their own meteorologists about what they can do, what do they need to be, where do they need to be,
right.
and not even right now, but down the line a little bit, because we're talking about a 3-day event here.
Exactly, yeah. So it's not just where am I now,
exactly.
It's where am I, but where do I need to be an hour from now, 5 hours from now, 6 hours from now? Where do we need to be by evening so we can make it through the night and maintain our trajectory? Yeah, a lot of thought and planning has to go into these flights.
And you want to stay out. There's a high pressure there that you kind of want to don't get caught up in.
Because then you'll just start to circle.
It's going to swing you right back here.
You know, that happened to Ed Yost when he attempted to be the first to fly the Atlantic in a balloon. He got caught in a high pressure zone, I believe, off the Azores, and it just started to circle him, and he couldn't get any further toward the continent.
Yeah.
And ended up having to land in the ocean,
Yeah.
So, yeah, you want to avoid that. High pressure is great for hot air ballooning. But you
it's
don't
great
want to
for ballooning, except when you're trying to get a distance.
Except when you're trying to get distance, yeah, because high pressure usually means light winds, calm skies, etc. So that's good weather for us, unless you're trying to go a long way.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what the Gordon Bennett guys are. And how great was it to have Regan Tetlow with us here last night doing Gordon Bennett TV, and we'll be checking in with them throughout the week as they're here all week broadcasting and following up on the progress of the Gordon Bennett balloons. So it was fun working with them last night.
You bet. We'll be checking in with them at 6:30 this morning from their studio over at the Balloon Museum. Dawn Patrol has now stood up for us.
Yeah, there they are.
And so they start to light up the sky.
Already the comments are coming into our Facebook page, those that are watching the feed there. Our audience is they're early birds.
There were 128 people waiting for the YouTube feed to start.
Were they? My goodness. And I don't know how to find that out on Facebook and probably.
Well, actually,
I'm not sure you can. But
the way it works on YouTube, all of the broadcasts for the whole week are already scheduled, so people can sign in. There's actually already 8 people waiting for next Sunday's show to start.
Oh, well, good for them. I'd get a nap between now and then if I were you.
Yeah, but on Facebook, it's just when you press the live button, you go, so you can't kind of get in the queue ahead of time on Facebook. So.
Oh, this is kind of cool. Stephanie McCullough says, good morning from the parking lot.
Yeah.
Our baby is sleeping, but we will head out to the field very soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a whole list here. I finally opened the chat over here on the YouTube side. Yep. Yes, things do look good this morning. Traffic is always, it's always difficult. There's just a whole lot of people. I mean, I never heard, I didn't hear an attendance estimate from yesterday. But, on a weekend, we easily put 80,000 people in this park, which means somewhere on the order of 35 or 40,000 cars.
Yeah,
despite
I can believe that. If you've been out in traffic, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the way of the nature of the beast, if you will.
Jason Barnhill is watching, and Jason, just a wild thought, we might be related. My 8th great-grandfather was Robert Gabriel Barnhill, who was born in Scotland in the 1600s, so might be cousins, who knows? Just throwing that out there for what it's not.
So our Dawn Patrol show is going to do an all-burn for us.
Coming up. Bingo. Well, almost.
All but, yeah.
Couple. There we go.
There we go. So we're monitoring the radio communications with the Dawn Patrol folks this morning. Hi to the Netherlands. Hi to Chicago.
Ireland checking in. Tracy O'Reilly from the Emerald Isle. Good morning.
So a flicker glow coming up in 1 flicker.
Virginia's watching Longview, Texas. Oh, that's where Jason is at. Well, we're almost neighbors, Jason. You'll have to check out, see if we are related.
Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, Belleville, Michigan, Tomball, Texas.
Yeah, Travis Mathis out of Anderson, South Carolina. Good morning, Travis. We mentioned the Emerald Isle is watching, Southern Illinois. All around the world again, people are checking in with us. That's great to see. New Mexico.
Even Connecticut.
Pittsburgh, PA.
Arcata, California.
Ames,
and
Iowa.
From the Albertsons Market cash registers. Hi, Riska. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. All right.
June Dinsley checking in from the UK, so it ought to be about lunchtime over there.
Or after.
Well, it's what, just after 6 a.m. here, so it should be 1-ish
Yeah.
in the afternoon over there.
If you had an early lunch, it'd be after. If you had a late lunch, it's lunchtime.
Yeah. Well, time for a cup of tea anyway.
Yeah. So on our Dawn Patrol team, we're just going to kind of try and point them out to you as we go along here. They're not going to light up for us as we do this unless they happen to hear us. But with the red, white, and blue balloon with the eagle on it, that would be Kurt Bramble. The pink one, kind of purple with dark purple on the top, that's Dawn's Delight with Dewey. And next up we have the one with the yellow and the palm trees on it, that's Floating Oasis and Greg Lindsay.
There's another Allbird.
Kind of got a checkerboard spiral out there, too good looking, that would be Chuck Schick.
Cedric Ravelli checking in from Lorraine in France. They have a very nice balloon festival there every other year, which is kind of interesting. Corpus Christi, Texas, Palmer, Texas, Glens Falls, New York, Sterling, Massachusetts.
The other red, white, and blue balloon out there with the stars, that's D3, and Tim Taylor is the pilot of that balloon. You've got the orange one with the orange pennants, the Lighthouse Business Solutions balloon being flown by Scott Vesley. And the Chick-fil-A balloon, is he out there? No, because it's Sunday. And the Chick-fil-A balloon, Chick-fil-a does not work on Sunday. They don't work on Sunday,
so
and the balloon does not fly on Sundays.
That's cool.
So there is Polar Dawn out there with Rick Jones. That's a checkerboard yellow, orange, and dark blue balloon. And the white banner, it's on the far right of the picture there, the white equator with the red right up below it and some other colors. That's Dreams Fulfilled with Brian Carlson. And kind of in the middle there goes the Lighthouse balloon with Scott.
Scott Vesley is away.
And I see Spirits Rainbow out there with Michael Scott. He's, I think, kind of more at the middle of the line. So Scott Vesley, the former leader of the group here. Matthew Grote is actually out there as our new leader of the Dawn Patrol show as of last year.
Yeah, and you were saying yesterday that Craig Kennedy, who I think was the original producer
of the Dawn Patrol show, yes, he was.
Yep. He's back with us this year as well. So yeah, we've worked with a number of folks leading the Dawn Patrol through the years.
And you may remember it was Craig Kennedy's dad, Ken Kennedy.
That's right.
That really kind of started the whole idea of a whole Dawn Patrol thing as well.
Yeah.
To figure out how to fly before sunrise. You have to have some currency requirements. You have to have had some flights in the dark.
In the darkness, yep.
And as you'll notice, once they get a little bit off the ground, they'll be deploying the same kind of marker lights we saw last night.
From the Gordon Bennett balloons.
Balloons.
Those are universal marker lights for ballooning, which I've always thought is rather interesting because it's a blinking red and white light, or one has to be flashing one solid, either red or white or both. And they hang below the basket.
Yes.
Which I've always thought is interesting. Why not just put a blinking light up on the crown at the top of the balloon?
Well, and you think about it, when you think about an airplane, you have the lights out on the wings, and you have one and above and below. So, yeah,
on the
it would kind of make sense
So
there.
it would make sense, and we certainly have the technology to mount a simple little battery-operated blinking light that would last for the time frame of the of a balloon flight. So I've always just thought it interesting that the lights, which are meant to alert other aircraft so they can avoid you.
Right.
If your lights are hanging below you and they try to avoid you by flying over you, oops.
So the other thing that I've learned over the last few years is the idea behind the white light.
Okay.
So when you see a white light and you're in flight, and it could be plane or whatever, that means you're approaching the other aircraft.
Okay.
And you need to go around it.
Okay.
So you need to give, you're coming in on it. So no matter, because it's white hanging from the balloon, no matter which direction you're coming at the balloon, you're going to see that white light and you'll know you're approaching another aircraft.
Okay.
And of course, you know this, hot air balloons have the right of way in the airspace.
That's right.
Over any other plane except one in distress.
Yeah.
So the white light says, you got to miss me. That's the point behind the
well,
white.
that's a good idea. And
Yeah.
of course, we don't have red and green lights, which aircraft do.
Right.
Which
That tells
also,
you whether the plane's going left and front,
Right.
whichever way it's moving.
red and green indicates the right and left of the aircraft. Same as on a boat for those of you that are nautically inclined. Port and starboard.
Yep.
But we don't have those on balloons because there technically is no right and left side. They're round.
Yeah, and if you, we always joke when the tower tells you to turn right, so you just literally standing in the basket, rotate your body by 90 degrees. Okay.
I did that. What's next?
Yeah, now what? So a nice slow drift to the south and a little bit southwest.
Southwest, maybe out to the river. We'll have
Here
to
comes
watch
an
and see
Auburn.
that. There you go.
There you go.
Auburn in the sky. Look at the picture on the screen. That's nice. It's always difficult where we are here on the rooftop studio to decide whether do you look up and watch it live or do you watch the monitor in front of us to see where you get the best view.
Yeah, see, no matter what, we're looking right up at from our vantage point here, necks bent all the way back. Scott Vesley with the Lighthouse Business Solutions
overhead.
right over us.
Yeah.
And so there's that white, no matter which side as he goes past us, it's still a white
it's still
light.
a white light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no matter which way you're approaching the balloon, the white tells you, I'm coming up on another aircraft, I need to avoid it. Dina is back online. Hi, Dina. Good to see you again. Good morning.
Some of the Dawn Patrol balloon teams you can see too using what we call turning vents. We talked about you don't just turn left and right in a balloon as you wish, but the balloons are equipped with turning vents, and that is a vent in the side of the balloon or possibly in both sides. You can have one or two, and I just said there weren't sides to balloons, but bear with me. Anyway, you have these turning vents, and you open that vent, and it allows some of the hot air inside the envelope to sort of spew out, and that will cause the envelope to spin or turn. See, is that Tim Taylor
That's
there
Tim,
in the
right.
Stars and Stripes balloon? He's using there's the turning vent. You can see that little wrinkle looks like in the fabric you can see there for a moment. That's the vent, and when he opens that, a little bit of the hot air from inside the envelope goes out. There's another
one, Greg, with Floating Oasis,
doing the same thing. Doing the same thing.
Yep.
Which is fun to do, but you use more fuel when you do that because you're allowing heat to escape out of the envelope. And if you do it constantly, you can get very dizzy. I speak from experience. I only had one balloon of the four that I owned and flew. I only had one that had a turning vent. And it was great fun to play with. Auburn there. One of the reasons you'll find turning vents on balloons, besides the maneuverability, corporate balloons particularly will have them on there. And the reason is because they have their corporate advertising on the balloon.
Yep, the
With
logo.
the turning vent, you can always turn the balloon so that the logos, the advertising on the side of the balloon is facing the audience. Everyone
sees it.
And that, of course, is what we do call advertising. So, yeah.
So about 500 feet up, Scott Vesley is coming back to the north. So the box is up there this morning.
Okay, very good.
Here comes a flicker burn.
Flicker. Looking good, Dawn Patrol.
Yeah.
Looking very good.
And someone's talking about radios, about keeping track of the FARs, the Federal Aviation Regulations, et cetera. Again, we're monitoring the traffic on the radio among the Dawn Patrol so that they can coordinate their burns.
Right.
But I just heard a call there, hey, am I clear to come up? Because remember, you can't see above
That's
you
right,
either.
you can't see above.
So the balloon on top does have the right of way, so he called the balloon above him and said, is there room for me to come up? And yep,
actually, the balloon below has right of way.
Right away, yes. The one on top has to get out of the way.
out of the way.
Yes, I said that
right. But they are communicating with each other and making sure they are clear to climb. Another flicker burn from the team. So yeah, they're all in communication with each other, so they know where they are, and if one needs to climb, they can check to make sure that they have clear air above them, or if there is a balloon above them, they can alert them so that they can climb and clear some airspace for the lower balloon. But the lower balloon always does have the right-of-way.
There might be a little bit of west in that north as well. Today might be a day. I think you even mentioned it.
Today
could be a river day.
Could be a river day, yeah. Splash and dash day.
Out to Corrales, Rio Rancho, suburbs basically in the northwest part of town. Kind of looking over there, I think it looks like Kurt Bramble over there, and I'm not sure who the other one is. But they seem to be getting a little more west today than they were getting.
Well, that could be a remnant of what we saw last night with the Gordon Bennett. Because remember, as they stayed low, as they first launched low, they did go out to the west, and then as they began to climb and gain altitude, they then made that turn to the north. So we could see still, it could be a little bit of a remnant flow to the west down on the surface.
Now Tim's working to get his red, white, and blue balloon right over the top of the rooftop studio.
Coming just over the rooftop studio here if he keeps on that track.
You know, the other thing, you were talking about using more fuel by burning with the turning vents. Notice that they're basically flying with the yellow flame, as I like to call it. So the glow one.
The glow burners,
When they really need to put some heat in to make the balloon do something, that flame is going to be blue.
Right. They'll use the main blast valve because the difference being that in the main blast valve, you burn the propane as a vapor, and it produces a thin blue pencil-like flame that's much taller and not nearly as bright, but it provides more BTUs and more heat in the envelope. There you go.
There was the blue, and then he switches to the yellow for the color.
When you switch to the yellow, which we use for balloon glows, we're burning the propane as a liquid, so it's a much more ragged but a much brighter yellow flame, which doesn't produce as much heat, but it does produce. Morning, Tim.
Morning.
It does produce that beautiful light, which allows the balloons to light up and glow. So that's a little bit of a difference in the way we use our propane.
All burn.
Good morning, Wayne O'Shields. We haven't crossed paths in a while. Wayne is used to bump into him out in Freedom Weekend Loft out in the Carolinas. Kathy Prue says, good morning, Art and Glen from Philadelphia. Good morning, Kathy. Barbara Stocco is watching. Hi, Barbara.
Yeah, this is going to be a fabulous morning based on what we're seeing with the Dawn Patrol.
Yeah, I think so. Ursula Klinger. Hi, Ursula. Donna Adams is checking in from Central Illinois. Kate Louise says hello, so lots of folks checking in. Alabama, Kathy checking in from there. Says, I went kayaking on the Rio last year as the balloons flew over. Well, could be some folks out there doing that today. You know, they do have, isn't there a concession that actually runs like the little airboat trips out there on the river?
I don't know if they're still doing that. They did that a number of years ago.
Yeah, a number of years.
And, you know, and it's kind of a hit and miss deal, though, because we don't always go to the river.
Right.
So, yeah, book a river trip because the balloons are going to fly over, and then they don't fly over.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a hit and miss. Even we've been talking with some of our official photographers who said, I really want to get balloons doing a splash and dash this year. Well, you got to look for the weather that's going to happen and then quickly make a decision to go because you have to leave the field to go stake out a position
and get there ahead of the balloons.
And you don't have a straight line like the balloon does.
Or traffic. You know, they have traffic, balloons don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least not the same as we have. Balloons do.
Yeah, different type of traffic.
When it's a river day, there will be a lot of balloon traffic out that direction.
There will be,
of course, but
and the other thing is
there's
not going to be a lot of splashing going on. The river is very
low.
Very low. So
did I see? I thought I saw a post the other day where there were some actually dry spots where it had literally there was no flow.
Yes, there's lots of places along the river that tends to happen. And when there's water in the river, we have it basically right here. So south of us where they start losing some of that. But yeah, there's a lot of sandbars out there.
Yeah.
No, like I said, no splashing, a whole lot of splunk, you know, or stick it in the mud. We're going to do another burn. All glow, all burn. Yeah, there's definitely a drift to the west. Look at all of them over to the west.
Yeah. So it could be a river day. We'll see.
Yep.
You know, things sometimes do change once the sun comes up, which was when we'll be getting our mass ascension underway. So there's always a possibility the direction will change just slightly, which could be good or not so good as far as the river is concerned. We'll have to see.
Robert's asking if we can provide the count. The balloon the Dawn Patrol team is coordinating their own
They
flows.
do that by radio and coordinate themselves.
Right. So they're coordinating their own. And they're only doing a 5 count to each other. So.
Yeah, we used to do that with the Dawn Patrol show, where before they launched, we would count down from up here, an all burn and a flicker burn for them. But the team has taken that over on themselves. So we're basically just providing commentary, and they're coordinating when they glow and what type of glow they choose to do.
Here comes another one
right now. Yeah.
2, 1, flicker. Yeah, it's going to be another great day to fly.
Yeah, that's a beautiful sight. Dawn Patrol is really something to see. And it catches on. You know, Reno, the great Reno balloon race, has their very own official Dawn Patrol team that flies there. And then my good friend Kevin Thompson out of Plano, Texas, put together for a number of years. They used to do a Dawn Patrol out of the Plano event. You were just there a couple of weeks ago. Do they still fly Dawn Patrol there or not? No. Okay. Yeah, Kevin Thompson, Rocky Bailey, and some of those folks. Debbie Standifer used to be a part of the group that did a Dawn Patrol for a number of years there at Plano. And they saw that. Kevin and Linda saw that happening here in Albuquerque and said, hey, we can do that at home. And so they did. For a number of years, we would have a Dawn Patrol out at Plano.
So Matthew Grode, who is our team leader here for the Dawn Patrol now, I believe he's on the team. He might even be the leader of the one in Reno.
Up in Reno?
Yeah,
okay.
I think he is.
Yeah.
And so there's a number of those guys that do that there. They do it here as well. And of course, depending on the day, there was just a great video, because Reno was just a few weeks ago.
Right.
There was a great video that got posted of them doing
I
a cluster
that.
launch.
Yeah.
Today, they went out one at a time.
Right.
But sometimes they'll go out basically all at the same time.
Yeah,
in kind of a
mass
formation
launch.
flight.
Yeah, formation launch, yeah.
Yeah. And then get that group of folks on the ground right around them to turn their cell phones up and point it up, and then they get a really nice picture from the sky.
Yeah.
That works really well on those cluster days. When they take off one by one, they kind of get spread out a little bit. So both beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But some of those shots when they're all joined, they're all grouped together, are really spectacular.
We used one on a sweatshirt a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And Greg Lindsay's flying Oasis balloon, the yellow one with the palm trees on it. It's kind of front and center in the picture. And once we put that out there, Greg's wife came in and she bought hoodies.
Dozens of them.
For the whole crew and everybody else. Yeah. So, yeah.
Here comes another glow.
Flicker
burn, yep. They are spreading out. There's Scott Vesely way out to the northwest. See him down low out there?
Am I losing him in the light, or is he?
Yeah, he's out. You may be losing him in the stage lights. He's way out over the pylons to the northwest. You can just maybe, well, you probably can't from your vantage point because of the lights.
Because of the lights,
I can see his navigation lights still blinking from where he's at.
So, of course, the idea of the box here, they're up 500 or so, 600 feet, maybe even more, 800, and they're heading out to the north. But as they drop down, we suspect that they will come back south again. So we'll just kind of watch and see what they're going.
It could. It depends on how strong that westerly flow is.
Well, let's watch Tim Taylor,
yeah,
in the
Tim's
red, white, blue
out
balloon.
there now. So see, he's slipping west now.
Yeah.
See, he just fell into it as he's dropping down. He's getting pushed a little bit out to the west. So it may be more of an angular box this morning, a diagonal type thing, as opposed to directly overhead.
Is that a parallelogram?
I think that would be a parallelogram. Good for you. Somewhere your geometry teacher is applauding you, I'm sure.
Yeah, you bet.
I was good at geometry. I never could get algebra. You know, and I got hung up on that. If x equals y, I'd go, well, why does the x equal y? You know, if you have y, you don't need x. Never could figure that out. But give me a shape, a parallelogram, you know, then I can make things happen.
Hey, you know, there is a whole bunch of sixth graders back in Georgia that will be watching us throughout the week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and learn, because they're going to be doing some units on math and science around ballooning and aviation stuff. So they'll be tuning in this week as they get back to school tomorrow, and so we'll try and remember to give them a shout out and go from there.
Well, I can't recall off the top of my head who it is now, but a friend of mine sent me a notice just before we started a day or two ago that he works in a nursing care facility, and they have it on every morning there for the residents to watch, which made me think we just had to move my mom into an assisted living place. And I need to get in touch with them and say, hey, you know, you can put us on the TV in the activity room.
You sure could. Hey, we're at 6:30 now, and Gordon Bennett Television is ready to join us with an update on the Gordon Bennett. So let's go up to the museum.
Say good morning to Regan.
Good morning, Regan.
Very good morning, everybody. Gordon Bennett TV, Regan Tetlow, Thomas Hoare. Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning, Regan.
How are you feeling?
Oh, great. A little bit tired, but good.
Yeah, I was a bit tired at 3:30, I think, this morning. Comp director, what a day we had yesterday. Let's do a couple of quick updates. As we were preparing the show at 6 o'clock, what we had in third place is Lithuania on 250 kilometers. Second place, Spain won on 269. And 2 kilometers in the front, USA won on 269. Just before we went on air, we did an update with Christian, and it switched around. That 2 kilometers difference is still there, but it switched around. Now Lithuania on 259, second place USA 281, and Spain 283 kilometers.
A fierce battle up there, a fierce battle.
We've got some great analysis of the overnight action coming up a little bit later. But first of all, let's just talk a little bit about yesterday. Tell me about the inflation and the launch.
So we had some unexpected problems with the inflation, so it took a little bit longer. Nevertheless, the inflation then went great. We had all balloons up at around 8 o'clock. At 8:30, the launch started. Winds were at an acceptable level, and it was a picture-perfect launch then. And it was a great job done by our launch master, Sam Parks, who launched the balloons. It was great by the deputy director, Johnny, who prepared all the balloons. There was a really good teamwork, and we got basically all 16 balloons which launched out with less than 1 hour.
It was fast.
It was.
Trying to commentate it, I was waiting for the national anthem to finish before I started the next commentary, and it was very quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quick, but that's the goal. So the teams have very comparable conditions. You know, that not one team is at the advantage or disadvantage by launching early or late.
And what a heartbreak for France 3, for Herve and the team there. What happened with their balloon?
It's absolutely disappointing. You're shipping your balloon from Europe over here, and you inflate the balloon and you find out that there's a technical problem, that your balloon is leaking approximately 200 cubic meters of hydrogen within 2 hours. That means they wouldn't make it through the night. If they would have taken off, they would have had to land at night, and a night landing with the wind speeds we are having wouldn't have been much of a fun.
Well, it's been a great night, lots of action. We've got some good content coming through from the teams as well. Let's check in with France, with Eric Decelliers and Benoit Harvey and France.
Good evening. Good evening from France 2. It's about 11 p.m. and we are very happy. Flight is easy, good temperature, no humidity. We are flying something like 10 knots, not very quick, and we enjoy the clear sky, the stars. We are looking for the moon, no moon. Benoit is very happy. I am very happy. And we say hello to everyone.
Bye-bye, see you.
Each year, Thomas, we get more and more great content from the teams, don't we?
Yes, we do. And I also saw some other teams who saw something New Mexico special. So when you fly with the gas balloon at night over New Mexico, you literally hear the coyotes howling. You know, it's incredible. You know, you hear this woo. You know, and it's.
How do they do it again?
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it later.
Well, should we get into the analysis of what happened?
That's a good point. Let's go into the analysis.
Right.
So here you see the flight path as we are right now. The balloons are somewhere at the Texas-New Mexico border, still in Logan, New Mexico. That's where the leading pack is. Nevertheless, you see the takeoff. Albuquerque, they took off with the what we call the valley winds up to the north. And then there's here Santa Fe. Santa Fe is a deciding point in this race. You can see it here. Here Santa Fe has very high mountain range. Here it's part of the Rocky Mountains. And if you were too far north, which there's some balloons were too far north, you had to go over these high mountains. That means you had to climb up to 3,600 meters. That costs ballast. That costs sand to get up there. While other balloons who flew more in the south, they didn't have to go over this mountain range, and they preserved ballast. And the difference here, these are some 600 meters there. We are talking about 700 meters. These are easily 6 bags you are losing. And if you have about 60 bags of sand with you, that's 10% of your ballast you have to lose because you unfortunately went to the more northern part than going south of this mountain range. And that was one of the deciding points of the race already.
We didn't expect to be getting where we are now, did we? Yesterday, all the predictions were thinking about staying a lot closer to here. Where we've arrived to overnight, it's quite a surprise.
It is a surprise, but it's also typical here. So we have a very strong high pressure here. And that's why all the models until now, if you do a model calculation, the models don't show that you are going for such a long distance. Nevertheless, if you have this high pressure, especially here around this area, there's a low-level jet forming, and that's what some teams are using. They're flying with a low-level jet, and these low-level jets are quick. Yeah. So the teams are holing with 50 kilometers, some 30 knots, in about 100-150 meters above ground. Yeah.
And heading towards...
And you can see that, wait, maybe you can see that here with one team. It's Germany 2. Yeah. Here you can see, can you mark Germany 2, please, so I can see that exactly. So that's Germany 2, and watch it, they went low, and now when they start, they really put in the turbo. You can see how they are overtaking all the balloons and really having some speed, and they are flying vision goggles at about 100-150 meters with some 60 kilometers an hour. It's a ride you are doing there, but also very exhausting.
Yeah, pretty extreme, isn't it? All my skydiver friends watching, have you heard that? 100 meters, night vision goggles, 50 kilometers an hour forwards. It's fast, isn't it?
It is. It's fast, but it's also fun. I mean, if you do it and you see your result, you were told that you don't get anywhere, and now you are going 50 kilometers an hour. That's great. So what I'm expecting is that the balloons will now move into Texas, into the Texas Panhandle. And the Texas Panhandle is also known for very strong winds. And there's low-level winds, but also the higher levels are quite fast. And
yeah, you make 2 very good points there, Thomas, about that. It's really interesting stuff. It's game on now, isn't it?
It is. It's game on. The race is now in a phase where it's decided. So if you take a look at the more southern balloons, whether they will get into these fast winds, which are located somewhere here, if they can sneak up there, and how these balloons which are here will make use of the winds, and then what winds they are taking. So there's the possibility either to go south, even to Florida, but you would have to cross the Gulf. But there's also the possibility, as you were talking about those 2 points, either Gulf or even going up to the Great Lakes. So these two strategies we are having right now.
As always, great analysis, Mr. Horer. Thank you
very much.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back with our next live show here at Gordon Bennett TV at 9 a.m. But right now, we're going to hand you back to the rooftop studio, Balloon Fiesta Live and Art and Glen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Regan. Thanks, Tomas. Thanks, Tomas. There's a little outro music. Was reading some comments after leaving here last night, and my friend Mark Passan over in the UK had been watching the Gordon Bennett launch, and he said, how refreshing is it to hear a British accent announcing from Albuquerque. And then, of course, we have Tomas, who's joining us, doing all of the analysis. And Tomas, of course, is from Germany, although I think now he has moved to the Czech Republic, I believe.
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
But I met Tomas years ago, back in the 90s, when he came over from Germany to tell the Balloon Federation of America about their balloon youth camps that they ran in Germany. And that's when the BFA took a look. And as we were talking yesterday, we ran 5 youth camps this past summer. So Tomas... getting a little age, a little gray on him as well, as many of us are in this sport.
You bet. Look at the rest. Look at that. Yeah, there we are.
There we are.
Yeah.
But good to see the 2 of them over there. And yeah, you get a real sense of how international, especially the Gordon Bennett is, because of all the different accents that you'll hear on Gordon Bennett TV.
Well, 17 balloon teams. We originally were scheduled
only 3 of them are from the USA. So
exactly, because that's the max that a country
can have.
That's right. 3. So you have to get to to get to that number of balloons, you have to have a lot more countries.
Yeah,
involved.
yeah. So, yeah, well done to Gordon Bennett TV. It's going to be great working with those guys all week long.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
getting them to give us some analysis that we normally don't get, even on the America's Challenge race. But you heard Tomas talk about they had the option to go south, but of course they'd have to cross the Gulf of Mexico. I can recall when Andy Caton
Did that
and ended up went out, got feet wet out over the Gulf, and then turned back in and ended up landing in Florida, and I believe won that year. May have been second. I don't recall. Too many of those that we've been here for through the years, but I remember it was a dramatic flight when Andy and his co-pilot, ventured out over the Gulf of Mexico. They almost flew right over the little airport that I live at in Shreveport, Louisiana, on that flight, and then out over the Gulf and ended up landing in Florida. So we might see some of that happening if Tomas's projections.
Well, there's
about the
definitely
strategy
obviously
are
in the
correct.
strategies there, and
Yeah.
we've been talking since well before the race, knowing what the weather systems were setting up to be, that
Right.
this would be a very strategic race because there were going to be a couple of choices. Make the right one, you're in there. Make the wrong one, and you're not.
Yeah.
So.
And you heard Tomas say one strategy would be go south, go out over the Gulf, and then hope to come back to dry land. The other would be go north and end up somewhere maybe up in the Great Lakes. So we may later today, as the balloons enter Texas, eventually see them start to make a wide split as some of those strategies come into play. We'll have to watch to see.
They do. So here on the field, it's Krispy Kreme glow time.
That's right.
And so we have a number of our balloons standing up for the Krispy Kreme glow. The yellow and orange one that you see, Paul Smith, the retired executive director of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, flying the Krispy Kreme banner for us this year. And so there's a number of them. There's our gut-wrenching and the enchanted and the Flying for Heroes balloon on the other side. So 13 or so balloons standing up, representing the 13 balloons at the first Balloon Fiesta back in 1972. And of course, sponsored by Krispy Kreme. That means we have a baker's dozen of balloons.
There you go. There is Just Fun Cat that we saw yesterday. There's gut-wrenching, or as we discussed yesterday, also spanners on the side of the balloon for those of you over on the other side of the pond. The Flying for Heroes group, that the Union Jack on the side of the balloon. A couple of balloons here feature the Union Jack in their design from Great Britain. So there's one of the Dawn Patrol team. You can see them aloft in that shot above the Krispy Kreme glowing balloons.
So the others are now basically directly west of us. So they are flying that box, but as we mentioned, it is kind of rotating off to the west side. So, but they have definitely boxed around.
They have. I'm still thinking we might see a river day once the sun comes up.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I think there'll be, because we know pilots love to go out there and do a splash and dash, and so if there's a chance to get out that direction, a lot of them will undoubtedly go that way. So we'll see how that.
Any
that
chance you
plays
can
out.
get to get there.
We'll have to wait to see what happens when the sun comes up, which is beginning to see sunrise. If we are on the field, you look over toward the east, you can now see the Sandias really well standing out in a silhouette against the sunlight on the other side of the mountain. You were saying yesterday it takes, like 45 minutes from official sunrise until the sun is high enough to peek over the Sandias and begin to warm the field here?
Until we see the light on the field.
Light on the field?
So it has to get not only over, but it has to get high enough so that it can shine down the side here as well. So, we actually, I forget what we were trying to do. We were trying to plan something on the field, and we wanted the sun on the field itself.
Okay.
So it was like, start the clock. How long does it take for the sun to actually hit the field after sunrise? And it was around about 45 minutes.
And we do start here with our balloons of the day at official sunrise, which is part of the FARs. We're required to wait for sunrise. But a lot of people sometimes comment, well, it doesn't look like it's quite daylight out there yet. Well, it is, but not here on the field. It's officially daylight, and we're okay with the regs. But the field is still in shade or darkness because the sun hasn't made it up over the Sandias to our east, which are a great geographical landmark here that are so fun to. I just love the evenings when the sun is setting and hits it, and they turn that beautiful pink of course, which is where the name Sandia comes from.
Watermelon.
Watermelon, and it does look like the pink meat of a great big watermelon.
It really does. Now, a couple minutes ago, you were talking about Tomas coming to the BFA, talking about balloon camps, those types of things. Albuquerque's been hosting them now for a few years as well. But what, there's like 4. Do we do 4 camps pretty much a year now?
Well,
3 or 4?
We're doing 3 to 5. We
3 to
actually
5.
did 5. We now have 2 different types of camps. One is what we call a sleepover camp, which can be a multiple day, sometimes 4 or 5 day camp, where kids are housed in dormitories on college campuses or things like that. But we're also doing what we call an event camp, where a balloon event, a typical weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend balloon event, can take one day of the event perhaps and have a camp where kids come out and get to experience hands-on with the pilots. So we're actually doing a couple of those this year and 3 sleepovers. But yes, Albuquerque, the Rio Grande Balloon Camp, has been hosted here for, 3 or 4 years, I think, now.
And we have some of those campers here on the roof with us.
Oh, that's who those folks are.
That's who those folks. Well, look at their shirts.
Well, it was
Southeast
it
Hot
was
Air
dark.
Balloon
The stage
Camp.
lights were turned over to them when they first got up here. So yeah, from the BFA Southeast Balloon Camp. Now that one took place in Georgia this year. Okay.
So
one of you guys have a mic.
You
so
have a
don't
mic,
be-
so
yeah,
hold it up
don't
and
be afraid
talk to us here. So tell us, first off, tell us who you all are.
So I'm Will. I'm actually with the High Sierra Balloon Camp that was held in Reno, Nevada, and Lake Tahoe this year.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm Lauren Sawin. Me and Jenna were at the Southeast Balloon Camp.
I'm Echo Begin. I was at the High Sierra Balloon Camp.
So tell us what's it like to go to camp?
So balloon camp is probably the best experience I've ever done just in this entire sport of ballooning. That's really got my start as a pilot. My first camp was a 17 camp. My mom works very closely with the camp, so I may or may not have been at the other 2 camps that were in Reno before then. But I've been around the balloon camps my entire life, and it's so much information and so much work, but I come away from it with amazing connections with people I've met. I know people from across the country. I was talking to a guy from Pennsylvania last night about my experience, and it's really the main reason I'm able to being my own pilot and having the ability to fly.
What is it? The thing that I've always been so surprised at is how many young women take part in these camps. And so for you young ladies, what is it about ballooning that attracts you to get involved in this sport and take part in a camp like that?
I just like that it's like different and it really makes you unique. And there was actually more girls in Cordell camp.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see there was more girls doing it when it's mostly a guy sport.
Well, there are some women here who would argue that point with you. There are a great number of great lady pilots, and hopefully you young ladies will be joining them at some point. Will, did you say you already have your pilot's license? Did I understand that correctly?
I do. I'm actually a primary pilot this year. I'll have the giant tennis shoe high top flyer this year.
Oh,
on shape days
outstanding.
as well.
Yeah, I remember that balloon it's a special shape that's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Well done, you. So tell me a little bit about the High Sierra camp, because that takes place out in is it Reno?
Reno.
Lake Tahoe,
area?
Reno
Lake Tahoe,
area.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's down at the 4-H camp in Reno. It was really fun. We do a lot of things. It just encourages everyone to just participate and be included. Even if you're not into ballooning, it's just an amazing experience. You get to work with so many different pilots, make so many new friends, especially around your age, which is kind of a hard thing to do, especially in aviation.
What are some of the activities that happen at balloon camp?
So we did a lot of flying. So we flew every morning.
Okay.
And we also
with an instructor.
Yes,
right?
with a pilot, of course.
We don't turn them loose with a balloon.
Yeah.
And we also did a lot of hands-on activities, we built an airspace model. We all got into groups and we built airspace models, and it was super fun. And we all just wanted to work on it all day, and we also learned a lot from that.
Yeah, I just Katie Griggs, who is the chairman of the BFA Balloon Youth Program, wrote an article for me in Ballooning Magazine that I was just laying out a few days ago before we started here. She talked about building airspace models. Now, are you talking about building a model that depicts Class C, Class D, that type of airspace?
Yes.
Where the different regulatory airspaces are. How do you build a model of that?
We just took paper and tried to use our creativity to what we like to say upside down wedding cake.
Okay, right.
It's something that's hard to visualize when you're looking at a map to understand what this shape is.
Right.
And when you're flying, of course, you can't see it. So this build the model helps you guys understand that. Did it work for you once you got the models
it
built?
worked. It worked really well. I think we all got a way better understanding of the airspaces than just trying to get an explanation of it from someone and looking at a photo.
Is going to camp something that any of you would recommend to your friends, whether they're into ballooning or not?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. I know at school I have one friend who I've got more interested in ballooning, and so I'm really trying to get her to come to camp. And so far it's working pretty well.
What's the reaction of other kids that are your age, young people, I don't use the word kids, when you do go back to school, and you know, we used to go to school and they say, well, stand up and tell us what you did on your summer vacation. Well, I went to hot air balloon camp. What's the reaction like, and what do others think of you when you tell them that was your experience?
Well, some people get really into it, like one of my friends, but other of them, they're not too interested. But I wear my shirts. Like, I have so many balloon shirts. I wear them like every day to school. So they all know I'm a balloonist. And I've had a couple people come up and ask me about it, and I'm trying to get them to come out to local festivals.
It's a great way to spend some time and get away from video gaming, I would think. Well, I know, because I don't do video gaming, but as a balloonist, I know it's a great outdoor activity. You get out into the fresh air. It's a very social activity, as you've all mentioned, the chance to meet and make new friends from all across the country, I would think. Even though the camps are somewhat regional, do you find folks that, young people that do come from different parts of the country sometimes?
Yeah, we had one from Southeast Balloon Camp this year who came from here, Albuquerque, and she just did her check ride actually like a couple days ago with another pilot that was at Southeast Balloon Camp. And so yeah, we have people from like Colorado, we have people from up north, they come from everywhere.
Yeah, I think some of the Albuquerque kids have started going to the other camps just to get away because there's such a great ballooning community here. I got to go see what the rest of the country does with ballooning. So was it Trixie? Or her call sign is Trixie. Trying to think of her, Christina? What doesn't matter.
Kirsten?
Kirsten.
Yeah.
Kirsten, who just did her check right.
You were close.
Yeah.
I was close. I knew there was a K in there. Yeah.
You're close, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, any last words of encouragement for folks to come out to balloon camp next summer?
You should absolutely come. We get super close with the campers around because the Wi-Fi isn't the best, especially where we were. So you get to talk for a really, really long time with people. And so everybody, all the kids who have been here, we're all super close. You guys have anything you want to say?
Definitely come to camp. I've been going to camps for my entire life, and I just being around it, talking to people, having the connections you get, it's amazing. Even if you don't want to become a pilot and you just want a crew, it's a great way to get involved and learn about aviation. We are a really cool sport, at least in my opinion. And minus the waking up early part, there's not a thing about ballooning I would change, and being able to learn about it is the best.
It justifies the naps in the middle of the afternoon.
Absolutely,
exactly, nap
yeah.
time.
They're a little young to need naps. As you get a little older, you'll appreciate those midday naps, trust me.
Hey, thanks guys for coming by
Really,
and
thank you so
letting us
much.
all know about balloon camp.
Of course.
Congratulations. Keep moving forward on your education. Look to seeing all of you out here on the field in the next few years, flying balloons at Albuquerque. Thanks again.
Of course.
Look forward to seeing you flying, Will. Have a good flight. Ladies and gentlemen, the BFA balloon camps, you can find out more about them at our website, www.bfa.net. And we run, as we say, anywhere from 3 to 5 camps around the country. If you're an organizer or affiliated with a group that might be interested in putting on a balloon camp at some point during the summer, please do get in touch with us through, again, the website, www.bfa.net. And we can certainly hook you up, help you provide some curriculum and some ideas, and great testament to the success of those camps. I mentioned yesterday we started balloon camps here in the U.S. in 2014, and from that point we have now had more than 37 young people go on to earn their pilot's licenses, like Will, who have gone through the BFA camp program. So again, thank you all for being here. We appreciate that.
You bet. Thanks to Duncan, one of our weather team guys, for bringing them over.
Oh, cool.
Duncan was the director at a couple of the camps this summer.
Yes, he was.
So, top-notch people putting on those balloon camps. around the country with very experienced pilots, people like Duncan. You'll be able to bring the weather piece to things to the camp and give them that kind of education.
And every camp is a little different.
They are.
So here they have the museum to take advantage of, for example. I've seen groups that have visited local TV stations and talked with the meteorologists there to learn about weather forecasting. I get a chance to maybe to visit an FAA control tower, depending on what area they may be if they're in toward an airport. And of course, as you heard them say, they get hands-on experience. Ideally getting to fly, certainly getting to tether and crew for the balloons, and yeah, it's a great fun experience.
Usually the first day of camp here in Albuquerque coincides with a local balloon club Quad A flying event.
Okay.
So not only are they getting the hands-on with their balloons, they're part of a bigger event of about 50 balloons flying.
Oh, excellent.
So it's like coming to a mini rally,
Yeah.
and then that's kind of like the first morning of things to really get things kicking up before they get into more of their hands-on and all their other stuff. So
Well,
their introduction to camp is a balloon rally.
Outstanding. And there's a lot of fun in games that goes on as well. It's not just all serious learning. I was, again, the article that will be coming out in Ballooning Magazine, I think it was at the High Sierra camp, where one of the comments was they learned that they can stuff 11 people into a phone booth. So I'm not sure what that had to do with ballooning. I think maybe it was a lesson about weight and balance in the basket, maybe.
Well, and closeness in a basket. I
Closeness
can see that
in a
too.
basket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've talked about that with the Gordon Bennett folks, where two pilots are going to be living very closely together in about a 3 to 4 foot square area for the next 2 or 3 nights and days.
I think Albuquerque's done some altitude things because we're already at a mile high
At a
here.
mile high, yes.
And if you go to the top of the Sandias, now you're at 2 miles high.
Right. Well, in fact, I think the Albuquerque group, they went up there and they hiked the trail at the peak of the Sandias.
Yeah, so 2 miles high, you start getting the effects of being at a higher altitude, just
Right.
as if you were up in a balloon.
Yeah.
So they normally get to a balloon repair station up here as well. And I know one of the other fun ones is to actually learn how to put out a fire with a fire extinguisher.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you're getting to fire those things.
I can
off
recall
as
doing that
well.
at a safety seminar myself, and it's quite an experience. And then, of course, one of the things they do at a lot of the camps are build. They get teams together, they build tissue paper balloons, and then inflate and fly those, which is a good lesson in the dynamics of hot air balloon flight and how the heat lifts the balloon and provides the flight. So, yeah, summer camps are a great thing for young people. Again, you can check it out at www.bfa.net.
Great opportunities there. So we're starting to see a number of balloons inflate. We still have our Krispy Kreme balloons standing up.
Yes,
There's
we do.
Paul Smith on the right. He's got the banner turned the other way. And then the brand new University of New Mexico balloon.
Go Lobos.
That is the balloon of the day today.
Oh, okay.
And brand new balloon, and they never even told me who was going to fly it this year, because
guess
they didn't even tell me they were going to bring in that balloon.
I guess if I looked at my schedule, I would have seen that they were the balloon of the day. Would I? No, I don't see that marked on here. Okay.
It's in a different place.
Okay, well.
But yeah.
As long as you know, that's what keeps us going.
And then this is a mass ascension day, so we will do 2 waves. We'll kind of start pretty much where Krispy Kreme is in the middle of the field and down here on the south end of the field.
Yep, they're already beginning to inflate here on the south end of the field, row A in front of Corporate Village.
And so we will then stand those up. We'll just kind of work through the field. Then we'll kind of do it again with wave number 2.
One of the things in the comments I'm just reading here, Pat Hansen makes the point we didn't mention, is that a lot of the campers get to attend camp on a financial scholarship, and the regional balloon clubs like Quad A and many others around the country, the Northeast Ohio Balloon Pilots, Plano Balloon Association, et cetera, they will make donations to the camp program. They'll provide a scholarship for a kid from their area to go to camp. And again, you can find out more about that and the operations of the camps on the BFA website. But just a quick point that you can make balloon clubs, or any individual can make a donation to provide a scholarship to send a young person to balloon camp, and that's a great thing to do.
What's good, baby? Where to be? You want to tighten that rope up? Or do you want to just stay rope?
Okay.
No, let's
All right. Well, I was looking for a KOAT person because they came to the
Oh, I'm just reading a quick text here, filling time. Just saw that my friend Max Mitchell says he retired from ballooning this year after 40 years of appearing here at Balloon Fiesta. I didn't realize that, Max. welcome to retirement. And 40 years of being here at Fiesta. He's got me by just a few years. See if I can try to catch up to him. So the ExxonMobil balloon is one of the first to be upright, certainly here on the south end of the field in front of Corporate Village and our sponsor Hospitality. We are, of course, powered by ExxonMobil, Balloon Fiesta, and Balloon Fiesta Live. That is their brand new balloon, which I think we decided we were correct that the name is Enchanted Horizons.
Yes.
And really beautiful, the color motif is kind of what you'll see on a beautiful sunset here in the high desert.
And I think we're just about 30 seconds away from our national anthem.
Okay.
So we'd like to throw it down to our main street stage and our PA announcer, Bill Royal, calling off the national anthem start.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
How about that for the national anthem?
What a voice.
Well, yeah.
Oh, beautiful baritone voice.
Yeah, you bet.
We need to get him to do some field announcing for us.
We do. So Travis Fensel taking the University of New Mexico balloon airborne with the
colors, the
stars and stripes.
Yep.
Exactly. So we are also keeping an eye on ExxonMobil's balloon. You were mentioning that they are standing up next to the Coca-Cola balloon and the Cuervo balloon standing up next to that. We are understanding that something might be happening at the base of the basket with the ExxonMobil balloon today. So we're going to kind of keep an eye on there. We don't want to spill any beans because that's that balloon over there.
Cool Beans is over there on the other side of the field.
So
yeah.
We're going to keep an eye on there.
Cuervo and Coke. Does that work? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Maybe
if you mix some ExxonMobil in the middle.
ExxonMobil in the middle, yeah. Who knows?
Don't drink and drive.
No, or fly.
Or fly, that's right.
I see a lot of cowboy hats down around that ExxonMobil this morning.
That's the ExxonMobil crew. Tristan McLean, of course, the pilot there.
Right.
And they kind of have this cowboy hat motif.
Okay.
And we've been talking about youth this morning. We're going to talk more about that on Kids Day on Friday. But Tristan's one of the younger pilots around as well.
Yeah.
And has one of the younger crews, if you will.
Okay.
So, I'm hearing a bunch of whistles.
Well, I think that's the launch right here, clearing the crowd back.
For Cuervo, maybe?
For Cuervo, well, right there in front of Cuervo and Coke and ExxonMobil.
Yeah, to get those first ones out of here.
Pushing them back so that, because they do launch. I remember when they first put us up here on this rooftop, when it was myself and Tom Rutherford, this was a restricted area. The FAA absolutely would allow no one else up here. And the reasoning was they were concerned that balloons on a windy day, balloons launching off of row A might not clear the building.
Right.
And it became very obvious to Tom and myself that we were expendable. They weren't worried about us getting hurt. They just didn't want anybody else up here getting hurt if a balloon crashed on the rooftop studio.
So Krispy Kreme balloons from the edges in the middle of the field. Swire Coca-Cola from the south end of the field, all getting up in the sky already.
The Coca-Cola balloon getting airborne. Good morning, Orv. Orv Olivier just joining us here on the stage. Orv is the longtime awards chairman of the Balloon Federation of America and is a veteran of Aerostar Raven balloons from back in the day. Farmers Insurance Group is up in the air as well. There goes the Krispy Kreme.
Posing for a picture.
Photo.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, in fact, you can just see the ExxonMobil photographer right over here in the
so there's a photo
far
op
right side
there.
Yeah, photo op with the crew lined up. There you see all the
cowboy hat
hats.
motif. Yeah, I see that. Oh, now they're going to get the backside with all the jackets. That's nice.
There you go.
So you're gonna clue us in on what you obviously know what's happening down there. I have no clue.
Well, I know what's supposed to be happening
Okay.
down there. Let me put it that way.
All right.
But I don't know if and when. Yeah, here it goes. Here it goes. So now we're watching.
Oh, now I see what's happening.
Down on one knee.
Lots of applause. So apparently the answer was yes.
And she had to take her glove off. Yep, but there they go. She obviously said yes.
Congratulations. In case you're not watching the feed, we just watched a marriage proposal happen. I trust that's what that was.
That's what that was. That's what that was. Yeah, he is typically the crown person for Tristan there, and his now fiance have been crewing there for a little while as well, and they usually help Tristan get the balloon up, and then they actually go help someone else get theirs up, is what Tristan tells me.
Okay.
So lots of hugs and everything all around. Congratulations. Thanks for sharing that with the world.
Congratulations.
Yep, right here on Balloon Fiesta Live.
Happily ever after. How awesome is that? There is Team Gordon Bennett. We mentioned the Flying for Heroes balloon earlier. That is flying almost directly over, coming right at us here on the rooftop studio. We've got the Rio Grande Down Syndrome Network balloon just to our right. It's kind of sky blue and white. There goes gut wrenching or gut spanning, depending on which side of the pond you're on, I guess.
Still part of the Krispy Kreme glow that is now getting off.
We're underway with our mass ascension.
More of the Krispy Kreme balloons in the air. The Just Fun Cat we see on the screen. Dos Equis banner balloon. We have the Dos Equis logoed balloon, and then we have a banner for Dos Equis. Big sponsor here at Balloon Fiesta, getting off the southeast corner of the field. Our ride balloons are inflating on the north end, and we are underway for day 2, mass ascension at the 51st Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining us online. We appreciate, look at all the rings. All the rings on the emojis screen. Thank you guys, and for participating with us in the chat rooms, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Always great to have you joining in with us. So we've already mentioned that the Dawn Patrol teams managed to find a box up there, and it's still up there. So the idea of a box is in the first few hundred feet above the ground, the winds are going to the south. Typical drainage winds bringing the balloons to the south. And when they get up somewhere around 500 or 600 feet above the ground, the winds turn around and blow back to the north. So the Coca-Cola balloon and the UNM balloon that took off and came to the south are now back over the top of the field. And that's the pattern that balloonists really love to have here, and it actually happens quite a few days in Albuquerque. We fly the box, and it gives us the opportunity to get back to where we took off, or somewhere close to it. Now, we think the box is going to roll a little bit to the west this morning. There goes Quavo, right over the top of us, and there's the UNM balloon still flying the flag. That was our balloon of the day, Travis Bensel flying that. And we're starting to move them off quickly now. There goes the ExxonMobil balloon. You see that from our camera right there at the base where that proposal just took place. Right next to him, the New Mexico Zia balloon, sponsored by TLC Plumbing and Utility. And Tristan using that turning vent that we talked about a little bit earlier in that brand new balloon to spin it around so you can see ExxonMobil. I think you should be spinning it the other way though, so that the ExxonMobil moves
because now
in instead of going out. Yeah.
Now it reads Libum Noxie.
Yeah, you see it from the other side.
Yeah, Libum Noxie. There you go. That's ExxonMobil backwards.
There you go.
I'm pretty impressed I can pull that off.
You are. You are. Yeah, there you see the jackets with Enchanted Horizons on the back of the jackets.
Yeah, I saw that when we were looking at the photo.
Thanks, Tristan.
Thanks, Tristan. Good morning.
There's our Rainbow Rider balloons on the screen. They're at
they
midfield. That's just looking from the north end of the field, looking back.
Bunches and bunches of them.
Yep. And as we talked a little bit yesterday, and we'll see some of these, the idea, Rainbow Rider is a big ride company with operations not only here in Albuquerque, but in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, and from about Memorial Day to Labor Day in Colorado Springs as well. So a number of those, and Scott's kind of moving more and branching out into the corporate world and kind of combining the idea of a corporate balloon with the ride balloons.
Right.
So the UNM balloon will be able to, I believe, give some rides, as we'll see some of the other balloons. The new Meow Wolf balloon, also the
Sandia Casino, was that one of his?
It's Indian Pueblo Culture.
Indian Pueblo,
is one of his.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. Coming off the south end of the field, one of the Blazer balloons. Blazer, of course, the provider and procurer of all the hydrogen that we used last night to inflate the 17 gas balloons that are now out east of here after, let's see, what time is it? About 11 hours of flying, right? Because they took off between 8 and 9 last night, 8:30ish. So they've been up for all overnight.
I was, it was interesting to listen to Regan last night because he pronounced it Blazer, and I had said Blazer yesterday morning. And someone in the audience on our chat room corrected me and said it's pronounced Blazer, Glenn. Well, yes, it is for us. But apparently for Regan, maybe it was just his accent. I don't know. But he did pronounce it Blazer. So Blazer, our Blazer. It's good to see
our
you
hydrogen
guys this
providers.
Morning. Our hydrogen providers.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Getting compliments from pilots flying overhead. You can't beat that. Hey, there goes on the far east of the field, one of our special shapes, the Tiger. That is the name of the balloon, Tiger. That's Mark McSkimming, who's here for his 15th year out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
That should have been David Strassman going over in the Blazer balloon.
The Blazer balloon, okay.
Yep, that was, yep.
There goes the waste management balloon also, right beside them. That is, I think, is that Spencer flying the balloon? I'm curious. Because that is, I'm having a senior moment. I'm trying to remember the name of the pilot.
Can't help you on that one.
Getting too old for this.
It just kind of slips away sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not getting off the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Jerry Copas.
I'm not looking down
Jerry
your mouth
and Kathy
to see
Copas
it
and their son Spencer Copas. I think Spencer might be flying. So there you go. It came to me at the last moment there. So, yeah, there's the Solaire balloon over near the pilot pavilion, the Sid Cutter pilot pavilion. The new balloon from Nuevo Leon, where they host their very own wonderful ballooning event that I think is coming up just in a few weeks. Normally, I believe it follows Albuquerque, if I'm thinking of my calendar
somewhere
correctly.
along mid-November is what I have in my brain about that. So
Blue Moon's Light Sky Citrus Wheat is airborne, shades of blue, greens, and yellows in a spiral pattern.
See, that looks like maybe one of the ride balloons.
Yeah,
that's the Indian Pueblo.
Yeah,
yeah. There's a shot of the turning vent. You see the kind of scallop types of things you've been talking
just
about?
Off to the left of the, now kind of center, just above the burners there.
Yeah, that's perfect, guys. That's it. That's the turning vent. So
you
a
can
line
open
from
that up, and that section of fabric will open and allow some of the air to escape out the side of the balloon as we were discussing earlier.
That's exactly what it looks like, looking up inside the balloon.
Yeah.
So they'll be getting ready to take a number of people airborne.
Absolutely.
A whole lot of bucket list items being checked off. Amarin, protecting our people, Native American insurance here in the state of New Mexico from the south end of the field. Blue balloon with the multicolor stair steps going up around the side. There's a shot of the people with all the balloons, and you see starting the size.
Yeah, look at the size of the balloons compared to the people.
And the truck.
And the truck, yeah.
Yeah.
The truck is kind of covered up by folks on the field right now. Another huge crowd out this morning, which is a great thing to see. There goes the Solaire balloon team. Just launching off of the southeast corner of the field.
And we're going to come right across that line with Jeff Ashworthy and his New Mexico Tartan, and then we'll be into
Then there's Wicked.
Getting some others out of the middle there. It's kind of like there was all of a sudden this little gap there, and then all of a sudden we've got everybody ready. So there's Wicked on the screen.
Great Broadway show. I got a chance to see Wicked actually in a theater in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Every year when I get over to the UK to do the Sky Safari at Longleat, I try to take in a show at London. I love theater, so.
So here's a balloon that was just laid out, getting ready to go, and it's one of those where they use the cart, obviously, with the big wheels to roll the bag out, so you don't have to carry it.
I need to borrow that. I have somebody roll me around in that.
Yeah, because they just put the bag back in it and some of the straps and stuff back in there. So, yeah, you lay it out like this, you connect it to the basket, and then you turn on an inflator fan that starts to blow cold air or ambient temperature air, if you will.
We call it cold air.
We call it cold.
Yeah.
And fills it up with cold air, and that's when you then turn the burners on to heat the air, which makes the air less dense, and it lifts up the balloon. When you keep going, it then lifts the balloon off the ground.
I'm glad we got off that shot because we were looking at the butt end of a dog there, I think. One of the dog shapes that's here. There goes the Teller Craft Vodka Cocktails balloon. It is shades of greens, yellows, blues, and purples with those gold stars around the center.
And banner number 508.
Banner number 508, yep.
And so there's another one of those blazer balloons.
Blazer, blazer. You know, you say potato, I say potato. You say blazer, I say blazer, whatever. There's several of them flying. I think there's 4 or 5.
We've got 4 balloons here. One being
a special shape.
One being a shape.
Yeah. We'll probably only see it on Thursday and Friday.
I would think so.
For Shapes Days, because I don't recall seeing it yesterday.
Trying to see who is flying all of those.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm having a yawn fest this morning.
So if that wasn't David, the one that went out before, that was Rick Pendel, and David's here, so. Getting lots of waves this morning. Yeah.
Those that are coming right over the top of the rooftop studio this morning.
Yep.
Looks like.
And they're waving at us.
They are. Yeah, in this case, yeah. A couple of the balloons yesterday were waving at other balloons out in front of them. There goes the Wicked balloon, just about ready to launch. Looks like they're just walking it out a bit to get it in the air, inviting you to defy gravity, which we do every day here at the 51st Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, powered by ExxonMobil. The RPS balloon also ready to go, bright yellow with a teal and kind of a turquoise and pink, what I call a lattice work stripe around the center of the balloon. That Lindstrand balloon we talked about yesterday that's black on one side, white on the other, is inflated right there. There goes Wicked. They're just getting airborne now.
One of my favorite launch directors on the screen, Bill Brennan, with his black and white hair.
I like that.
As he's checking around. The launch directors are the ones that control the launch here. They're the ones that say you can go. They're looking overhead to make sure that the area is clear, that you're clear to the sides. They will clear a path through the folks that are on the field. And that's where he's doing now. He's walking out, he's taking a look, and he'll blow the whistle, give them a thumbs up when it is clear and okay for the balloon to launch. We've got about 50, I think, launch directors out there taking care of this for us every single day.
Yeah, they are easily identifiable because they are dressed in rather from somewhat sane to rather outlandish black and white uniforms. As I said yesterday, some of them carrying the concept from infinity and beyond.
Little PDA going on between those two Rainbow Rider
between the
balloons.
Rainbow Rider. Look at the difference in the size of the two balloons there, side by side.
When envelope to envelope, it's called kissing.
Kissing, that's right. We are a romantic sport if we are nothing else. There goes the Rocky Top balloon. And
Mark Yoakum.
Yep, Realty 1 of New Mexico, also airborne over here. The teal balloon with the orange spires and the white diamonds around the balloon.
Jaybird Mason flies the Realty 1 balloon. We just saw the New Mexico State balloon on the screen.
AARP has a balloon here for those of us. And a booth?
Yep.
Okay.
They've got a great booth up towards the north end.
All right. I haven't made it out to Main Street yet to even see what we have in the way of vendors and organizations.
You were talking about
groups.
the size. There's the size of
Yeah,
a basket
look at the size
on
of
one
that
of those
basket.
ride balloons going up. So a lot of folks in there. You could have a family reunion in there.
You could, if you have a small family.
So I think that's one of the newer ones because it has. They always put something different on those Rainbow Rider balloons so that if you can spot it, if you're close enough to spot it, you can say, oh, that's this balloon or that's that balloon.
Oh.
So that one I got away from me too soon. But
we should introduce Scotty to the Hartzels and explain that concept to them.
Yeah, we should. We definitely should, yeah. So, but Scotty does make them different. You see the one just going off the screen there with the Arizona flag.
Yeah.
So that's one of the Rainbow Riders balloons. So a similar color pattern, but yet has
there
the
are
flag on it.
something different.
Yeah, and obviously Scotty has that operation over in Scottsdale and Phoenix area. So that one would tend to fly over there, except during Balloon Fiesta when all of his balloons are here.
There goes that again, that unique Lindstrand balloon. There's the turning vent. If you see it, you can see that hole open right in the side of the balloon. And again, it's black on one side with these rainbow stripes that are horizontally around the balloon, and then as it spins around using the turning vent, it's white on the other side. So the perfect shot is right there when the black-white split is right down the center.
If you're sitting here watching.
If you're sitting here watching, yeah.
Because we're seeing those visit Albuquerque green side.
Well, okay. Yeah, well, that's the red and green balloon,
That's
which
the
is
red,
also
it's the same thing.
Same thing,
concept,
different colors.
Yeah.
There's the balloon
There's
I'm talking
the white
about.
one. It's coming around to the
white
black.
now. As he spins just a little bit, wait until he's just about
Half
bingo.
and half.
There it is. There's the half and half shot.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
And
there's the red and green balloon.
There's the red.
Have we got a crack production crew or what?
Yeah. All righty. So someone tells me that over in Switzerland the A is pronounced like in raw, so that would make that blazer.
Absolutely. See, I was right.
There you go. Blazer.
As opposed to being blasé.
Yeah, and now we're back to the green.
Which sometimes can be.
Now we're back to the
green, right. So red or green or Christmas.
Or Christmas, yeah. Turn the balloon halfway, guys, and so we can see both sides. Actually, it looks like he is starting to use the turning bit and turning it for us. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Yep, here comes the red side.
There comes the red side. There you go.
Right on cue.
Can we call it or what? Yeah.
There is the other balloon here from Leon, Mexico, the Festival International de Globos. Balloons, obviously, over in France, they're still referred to in many cases as Montgolfiers because the original hot air balloon invented by the Montgolfier brothers. And then down in Mexico, they're called globos, which I guess is Spanish for balloon, probably.
Well, I think it's for round shapes.
Round shapes.
Think for like,
I guess so. A globe would be called a globos, maybe.
There's a whole bunch of happy people going off on their balloon ride this morning.
There's the red and green. Look at it coming right at us and right split down the middle.
Split right down the middle.
Green on the left, red on the right.
So there you see Rainbow Riders at the bottom of the
Indian Pueblo
there's
balloon,
the top part of it, and at the bottom he still has his Rainbow Riders on.
So that's one of those corporate balloons that is doing double duty as a corporate balloon, advertising for the client, and also working as a ride balloon for Scotty and Rainbow Riders.
That's exactly right.
Very good.
We see it up here in Albuquerque pretty much every day. You know, we actually are able to fly balloons in Albuquerque probably on the average of 300 days a year.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. A slow weekend would be about 20 balloons out flying. Yeah, with not too many people up. And I'm starting to see the sun. Oh, there we go. First off, there's somebody who forgot the basket.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a balloon that's called a cloud hopper. It's a little one-man balloon where you sit in a little seat with the propane tank basically on your back. You're in a little harness, and your feet fly free. And the cloud hoppers actually made their debut in an old movie. You have a chance, you could find it. There's a movie called Green Ice. And a group of bank robbers used cloud hoppers to fly their balloons onto the rooftop of a bank and then carried out the heist. And that's where this little one-man style balloon first was welcomed by the world in the movie Green Ice. But they're called cloud hoppers. They are typically very small balloons. There sometimes is a two-person version. We used to build one at Thunder and Colt that we called a duo chariot.
Right,
and
chariot.
The basket per se was kind of like if you took the basket off a Ferris wheel,
yes.
Where you and your best friend sit in
the kind of seat that
kind
swings
of a seat
there.
that has the little bit that folds up in front of your feet. Well, we built something like that and put it underneath a balloon.
Right.
Called it a duo chariot. And so there are one man and two man, one person and two person to be politically correct, I guess.
There's thumbs
versions.
up from a zebra getting a balloon airborne, just to kind of show what we were talking about before.
Right, that's how they let the balloon know that they are clear
Thumbs
above
up.
and ready to go.
Once they're up, they give a wave. So yes, you're talking about back to the cloud hoppers and people start changing that out a little. Then it becomes just a hopper,
right?
Or the chariot turns into a chair.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of different versions of those. My friends Barbara and Peter actually built a little chair type balloon, and one of our crew members built the two-seater chariot part. And yeah, we just call it the chair balloon. But it's that's great fun to fly. To that one, I've got an opportunity to fly that, and it's been great fun. So, but
we had
definitely different, and obviously a smaller balloon, so you could get away with less crew and less work and less weight, all those other great fun pieces.
Years ago, I was up at an event in Idaho, in Salmon Falls, Idaho, and Dr. Bill Bussey was up there with me, and Bill was flying a hopper and a little one-man balloon, and I was flying a 105. I was working at Thunder and Colt Balloons at the time. And so I had the corporate 105 balloon, and on Sunday of the event, we got caught in a little bit of rain, so our balloons were wet. So on Monday, before we left town, we went to the local airport to pull the envelopes out and inflate them and dry them out. And since I had already packed away the basket for the 105, after we inflated Bill's hopper, we hooked the 105 envelope up to the hopper basket. And to this day, I regret that we didn't take a picture, because I was, it's a big man's hopper, it's a double X hopper. But it dried the envelope out. Bill, of course, got on a plane and flew home. I packed both balloons into the back of my Ford van and drove home from Salmon, Idaho, which is quite a drive back to Longview, Texas at the time. But yeah, we had what I've always called the big man's hopper. Just wish we had thought to take a picture of it. There's Doug Gant in Hamlet.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit difficult to fly.
It would have been difficult to fly. It would never have come down.
Yeah.
Even if I were flying it, it would not have wanted to come down. So there's Doug Gant, as we said, in Hamlet, When Pigs Fly, just almost directly above us, the pink pig with the white wings.
Doug, formerly of Florida, now lives here.
Here in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
That's right.
He's on the board of directors of the local balloon club, Quad A, the Albuquerque Aerostat Ascension Association.
Doug and I met, again, telling some old stories, met years ago. He was flying for Sony Television, and at every balloon event we would go to, I would ask him, I say, hey, where's my TV? Where's my TV? And at the end of the season, it was actually out here in Albuquerque. He came up onto the tower with a little 19-inch portable TV and said, here you go. And I enjoyed it for a while, and then I gave it to my parents, and they watched it for years in their guest bedroom. So, yeah, Doug and I go a long way back. There is 96.3 News Radio KKOB. This lovely event we're enjoying, of course, began as part of a birthday celebration for what was then KOB Radio. You know the story of how the first Fiesta came about. KOB Radio celebrating its, I think it was the 50th birthday party for KOB back in 1972.
Yes.
And that's what became, they had the idea, let's have a balloon festival. And they invited 21 pilots and Weather
when
kept
20,000 people show up for this birthday party with only 13 balloons, it's kind of like, hey, maybe we got something.
Maybe we
here.
got an idea here. Yeah. There were 21 pilots invited. Weather kept a few of them from making it, so there ended up being 13.
Yeah.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah. And it's just gone on from there. Well, they got talked into, Sid Cutter and Tommy Rutherford, who were kind of put that together. Sid with the balloons, Tom from
With
the
radio
side.
station. Yeah.
They got asked to, hey, why don't you do something? We're going to have the first World Hot Air Balloon Championship. Why don't you guys bid on it? And I guess to hear Tommy and Sid tell the story, they really pumped them up, and you really got to make a good bid. You know, et cetera, et cetera. It turns out they were
there was no one else bidding.
There was no one else. They were
there
just
was no bid. They were just trying to find somebody to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they did. Sid put this together, and of course there were 100-some balloons at that World Championship, which would really be 50 years ago this year.
Exactly, and that's where the launch director outfits came from.
As well.
Sid wanted a way to identify officials and came up with the idea of having them wear the black and white referee striped uniforms, and that tradition carries right on now 51 years later with our launch directors out there in their various and sundry black and white outfits.
So we're still working through the first wave here, but we've been talking a lot about ExxonMobil this morning. Of course, Balloon Fiesta powered by ExxonMobil, Balloon Fiesta Live also powered by ExxonMobil.
Yep.
And obviously now ExxonMobil is powering engagements as well.
Apparently so.
Because we saw an engagement down there at the balloon before they took
Well,
off.
and let's see, a diamond ring. Diamonds are a form of carbon, which has to be created through all. So there's probably some ExxonMobil involvement in the ring, I would think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, joining us up here on the stage this morning, Carton Garg, who is the New Mexico production manager for ExxonMobil. Carton, thanks for joining us here this morning.
Hey, good morning, Art. Good morning, Glenn. Great to be here, and thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet.
Our pleasure.
So what do you think of all this?
You know, I have traveled the world with ExxonMobil, and I rarely get to see a sight as spectacular as this. Like, when I look out there, it is just pure beauty, a lot of people, and just great to see the economic benefits this event is creating for local and regional communities.
You guys have a brand new balloon. Have you had the chance to get a flight yet? Have you gone up in the balloon?
Oh, we unveiled the balloon earlier this year. It's called Enchanted Horizons.
Yeah.
It actually personifies or pays tribute to the skies during dusk and dawn in New Mexico. I actually had the pleasure of taking flight on it yesterday.
Oh,
and it was
good
an
for
absolute
you.
thrill.
Where did you guys end up?
Oh, we ended up going where the winds took us, so we headed north. We headed north for a while, and then we headed back south.
So you got to experience the box?
I had a good bird's eye view of Albuquerque.
Oh, great.
And the surrounds.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Beautiful.
Tell us about ExxonMobil's involvement, not only in Balloon Fiesta, but in the state here. Why is ExxonMobil involved?
A really good question, Art. So we have a significant and growing presence in New Mexico. So if you think about our operations in New Mexico, we're primarily located in southeast New Mexico, in Eddy and Lee County. As we look towards the next 40 years, we'll be generating billions in economic benefits for the state of New Mexico. And you know, those funds play an important role in terms of going towards health, education, infrastructure, and supporting fantastic events like this.
So do you have any idea how will the balloon be used? Obviously, we understand its role here at Balloon Fiesta, but going forward, how will it be used to promote the ExxonMobil brand and the name? Will it be used around the country? Is it going to be traveling to other ballooning events? What are some of the plans for that?
So, Glenn, we've been sponsoring this event since 2019.
Yes.
And you know, last year we took on the presenting sponsor role for the Balloon Fiesta. And this year we unveiled the balloon for the first time. So this balloon will actually be used again next year at the event, and we will use it more broadly as occasion allows.
Outstanding. So that's still to be determined then as to whether we might see it at ballooning events across the country or doing corporate event type things.
I'd just say more to come. Watch the space.
Good answer. Good answer.
Tell me a little bit about the naming of the balloon. I know it was an employee. Was it a contest? Was it a suggestion thing? How did you have lots of ideas before you came up with the name of Enchanted Horizons?
Yeah, our employees got involved in the naming of the balloon. So we had a number of names in mind. And there was a poll that opened up for the employees. And effectively, you know, the winning name from the poll whoever selected the winning name, there were a couple of individuals that were then drawn to take flight in the balloon.
Oh, nice.
So we actually have Sam and Amber
Uh-huh.
that will be joining us from Houston later this week to take flight in the new balloon.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
Well, the
What a
weather
great
should be
idea.
great all week for you. So Enchanted Horizons is being right here with all the great weather.
And he said exactly what I said earlier, which because I heard that Ashley probably told us yesterday that the color pattern actually is a tribute to essentially what I think of as the sunset, where it's still nice, bright and yellow and orangey at top, and then it shades down to those blues and purples toward the horizon as the sun sets in the evenings out here in the land of enchantment.
You know, when I first saw the balloon design, I had just arrived in New Mexico. And I was looking at it going, okay, it is a colorful balloon, but I'm yet to see the skies. Then having lived in Carlsbad now for 6 months, I could actually attest to the beauty of the skies that we have in New Mexico. Those sunsets, those sunrises, yeah, they're an absolute delight. And, you know, the balloon does an excellent job of capturing that.
It does.
So it's great to see it here at the Balloon Fiesta. It's great to see the event. It's great to see the number of people out here. And it's just great to see the benefits that it's providing the state.
Well, we're thrilled to have you guys with us. Great to be powered by ExxonMobil. As you said, you guys started actually with Balloon Fiesta Live. XTO, the subsidiary, was was our sponsor a few years ago, and now ExxonMobil is on full board as the presenting sponsor. How many employees are able to be here this week? Do you have some that are coming in and out? I know there's quite a few of you here.
You know, that's a really good question. I think there are hundreds of employees that will be coming to this event. One thing I will let you know, like ExxonMobil acquired XTO, so now XTO is a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. So when we think about the two, we call it XTO, call it ExxonMobil. We have employees from both fronts that will be here, present, engaged, and really looking forward to the event.
Outstanding.
I mean, in New Mexico, we have over 350 employees and contractors supporting our business.
That's great.
And they're absolutely critical to the oil and gas development and the economic benefits that I've previously spoken about towards the state.
Well, we're thrilled to have you guys with us as our presenting sponsor and sponsoring our broadcast, Balloon Fiesta Live. Thanks so much for coming up to say hello and for sharing a little thoughts with us today. And yeah, thanks for the great weather. We'll give you guys credit for that too.
Hey, thank you, Art. Thank you, Glenn. And you know, just one final comment. I'd like to thank the organizers of the Balloon Fiesta, the volunteers. I'll call it the city of Albuquerque, the state of New Mexico, for making this the fantastic event that it is. I'm enjoying it, loving it, and just, you know, request to everyone else to have an absolute blast.
Well, congratulations to you and to all the employees that are here. We hope everyone's having a great time. And again, thanks for being our presenting sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. The 51st. Sorry.
Carton Guard from ExxonMobil's New Mexico production manager. Thanks, and thanks for all the folks from ExxonMobil for coming up here and give the lucky couple, the happy couple down there, our congratulations when they get back from that engagement this morning.
I will certainly pass on the congratulations. Truly enchanting experience.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up. Good to see you.
You bet.
Once again, we are powered by ExxonMobil, both here on Balloon Fiesta Live and all across Balloon Fiesta Park this week. And thanks for ExxonMobil for that. It's a real thrill to have them on board with us.
It is, and we just had a shot of, as we're getting back into our inflation here, our mass ascension. The sun has now hit the field.
It has.
All the colors of the balloons have now popped, which always happens when we get the sunlight on them. They're really pretty even when it's kind of not so sun on them yet, but that early morning sky.
Yeah, that sun really brings a
brilliance.
Light. Yeah, it provides a brilliance to the colors. A new sponsor balloon with us this year, Culligan Water. You were telling me yesterday they're a new sponsor.
Yep.
They're right overhead in their red, white, and blue balloon, and that is Pat Fogue, who is flying for Culligan Water. I bumped into his lovely wife, Vicki, yesterday as I was exiting the elevator, leaving after the morning flight. Literally almost just bumped right into her. And Vicki will be flying.
You didn't knock her over, did you?
I didn't, but I could have. Vicki will be flying Buzzy a little bit later, one of the special shapes, but Pat is right almost directly overhead of us on the rooftop studio in the Culligan water balloon here this morning.
And the box is definitely rolling to the west.
It is indeed.
So they are moving out towards the northwest.
And I see some balloons down low along the trees.
In fact, look who's. You probably can't see him for the camera.
I can see ExxonMobil right on the river.
ExxonMobil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. He's not quite down in it yet, but he's really close. He's got that leveled out just nicely.
Yeah.
So you see the words. We know the words. The white ExxonMobil
right above
at the tree line.
Yeah.
And actually, now look, he's dropping down in. We probably can't get that camera shot, but he's So Tristan's taking.
Just probably settling down and splash and dash. The words just disappeared.
Or thudding.
Or
because of the amount of water that's not in the river.
Right. Could be tap dancing on a sandbar out there.
Yeah, could be.
But the idea is to be doing a splash and dash.
So they're definitely going to have the opportunity to do that if they like. So again, the box is working. You go to the south coming off the field, almost a couple 300 feet up. You start turning around to the west and northwest. And actually a nice speed there. You don't just kind of hang anywhere.
No, there's a little bit of movement this
just
morning.
Enough to keep everything moving.
You can see some out over the river. We had that shot just there looking out at the river. There was a little speed there. We're back on the field here. And there is Dos Equis and Meow Wolf and Wonder and the Sloth. They were all gathered there together. That's over near the main stage because I can see the Sloth peeking above the heads. Oh, yeah, now I can see the Dos Equis balloon. Looks like Smokey Bear is also inflating
out
over
there.
Near the stage.
Yep. So we've been talking about Rainbow Riders and Scotty. That would be Scott Appleman, and he's the one that actually flies the Dos Equis balloon that has the full logo on it. Beth Wright Smith flies Smokey Bear, and I just lost the name for the pilot of Meow Wolf. I'll have to look that up. There's a great shot of the sloth's head.
Given how slow balloons fly, a sloth is a perfect special shape.
It is.
There is a bit of, I think that is Cameron Wall's balloon. Yeah.
Yep, it is.
That one, the artwork on that balloon is beautiful to see, and it actually came from a series of watercolors that his grandmother paints. And Cameron took several of those to the folks at Kupacek, and they basically inkjetted or printed all of it. It's not inkjet, I'm just using that as a term most people understand. But they printed the artwork onto white balloon fabric and then sew the balloon together. And it's quite a stunning balloon to see as you see it coming up there now. But again, all of that artwork is original watercolor paintings by his grandmother.
And the green balloon with the butterfly right next to it, we were talking about her yesterday, that's Amanda Broadbeck, who of course is the women's national champion from this year. So that's Amanda's balloon. And actually this is Amanda's first time here. So we're glad to have the women's national champion attend Balloon Fiesta.
I think we have both. We have Amanda, and I believe that Bruce Wood is here.
Yep.
Bruce is the U.S. national champion, and as I mentioned yesterday, the two of them are both from the state of Colorado. So interesting that the state of Colorado is home to both our U.S. national champion and our U.S. women's national champion this year. And speaking of Colorado, there's the Colorado flag balloon right out over the center of the field. Dark blue, the white band in the center with the white Rocky Mountains, the snow-capped Rocky Mountains, and the big bold C with the yellow sun right in the center. That's a bit of a replica of the Colorado state flag. There goes the original Fiesta balloon out of the near center of the field, bright yellow with the multicolored Fiesta balloon logo on it.
We call that the Spirit of
the
Fiesta.
Spirit of Fiesta. And the other one is what, Fiesta Gold?
Fiesta Gold,
okay.
Built for the 50th Balloon Fiesta.
Right.
So built 2 years ago for the unveiling. And yep.
There's our little...
Saw Evo up there a few moments ago.
Is that the little blue guy? Or is
yeah.
That, Evo. So I was just scrolling around to see if I could find him. There's the New Mexico True balloon, or True Lee, with that beautiful sugar skull on the sky. And boy, how unique was that in the drone show last night?
Pretty cool, huh?
To see a sugar skull formed by the drones in the sky.
And then with the Zia coming right out of the top of
Yeah, right out of the top of the skull. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Bill Lee flies the True Lee
New Mexico
balloon
True Lee
to go
balloon.
with the New Mexico True Lee.
Yep. And is that Ray Bear, or that's one of the bears flying the balloon here that is yellow, blue, burgundy, red, gold? Isn't that one of the bear balloons? Actually, there's two of them.
Well,
no, the other one is not.
Yeah. The one that you were just talking about is probably David Bear, because I think Ray Bear is flying Spirit of Fiesta.
Okay, but they do have two balloons that look alike. And
they do. Ray's just flying the other one today.
Okay, sometimes Ray and David, father and son, are flying the two balloons together.
I asked Ray one time, I said, is there any difference between those that we could spot? He said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had 7 balloons with that pattern.
Wow.
And so, yeah. Definitely makes it tough. And then the other one that you're thinking that looks similar.
Yeah. It just caught my eye, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's mostly red with yellow and blue in it in a spiral pattern here.
That is Flamboyant 2, and that happens to be Hank Humiston.
Okay. Two of our frog balloons have gotten airborne. They have hopped ribbit into the air together from back at the north end of the field. They've gotten a little separation now, but they are in the sky.
There they are.
It's interesting to count how many, we did that one. You're trying to figure, I think we figured out there were more cat balloons than anything else, but now there's several dog balloons here this year, and we've got 3 or 4 frogs, and we've got several dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, a big one coming in.
Yeah, dinosaurs seem to be trending lately, I guess would be the way to say it.
Kind of neat with all those little spikes that the dinosaurs always have.
Yeah, the spines or spires, or I don't know what they call those things.
I don't either.
Yeah, some friends of mine in the UK yesterday sent me a message with a picture of their dog watching Balloon Fiesta live.
Oh,
they said
nice.
they're really not appreciating all the comments about cats, and so I promised I would talk more about dogs this morning. Speaking of which, there are 2 side-by-side out there in our Shapes group. Let me see if I can find and identify either one of them for you. Give me just a moment while I scroll through these 100 and some odd pictures that we have of all the special
all
shapes.
The shapes, yeah.
You can entertain the folks while I'm doing this if you want.
I'm just still looking around and just literally enjoying the view. What a great morning. This is like a perfect morning for us. Just enough breeze to keep things coming off the field and then back up and over the top. You get an opportunity to go out where there's nice wide open landing spaces.
So one of the dogs, there's Arabelle, the cow, the Creamland Dairy cow, which is always a perennial favorite here.
People were asking about Darth and Yoda on the feed earlier today. There is Yoda, and you can see behind the red, white, blue balloon, Darth is there as well.
And if you look behind Yoda, you can just make out the new balloon Seabed. That's Doug and Patty Grimes' new balloon. And if we get to see it a little bit later on, you'll see that there's a tortoise, there's a turtle, and a dolphin on the top of the balloon. And we've got a little bit of a competition or a contest going to name the turtle, the tortoise, and the dolphin. I think yesterday someone said Tortuga and Flip.
Yep, that was one of the suggestions.
So
there goes Arabelle,
There goes Arabelle, airborne. No longer with the crescent moon hanging below as it did back in the very early days when it first took flight.
What a great shot. You really see the size of Arabelle compared to the regular shape.
A regular round
red,
balloon.
white, blue one there.
Yeah.
But you can also, this is a great opportunity if you take a kind of get that shape of the red, white, blue one in your mind, and then look at the basket. You can kind of see that regular shape there.
You were talking yesterday how every special shape is literally built around a round balloon, a standard traditional shaped balloon. And we talked about how, the legs and the head and the tail and all of that, the udder, all of those appendages on the balloon really are just dead weight. They're filled with air to create the shape, but they don't provide any lift for the pilot. And so that lift, what actually causes the balloon to fly, is basically out of the center of the balloon, where basically you're looking at the structure of a round balloon. The parachute top is up along the back, the spine of the cow, of Arabelle.
And because the head comes up, you're going to get a little bit of lift off the head that's probably just keeping the head up.
Probably just holds the head shape up.
No lift out of the balloon itself, but just more for some structure. But that kind of tells you what a great calm day it is and a nice day when Arabelle's in the sky.
Arabelle will only fly on a lot of the larger special shapes only fly on very calm days because they don't deal with wind very well.
Well, you remember the motorcycle was kind of long like that.
Yes.
And the U.S. flag was that way. And the space shuttle, they tended to kind of collapse on themselves around that regular shape on the inside.
Yep. Over on the northwest corner, I have to think about my directions. I'm always turned around here. The northwest corner, there is another of the Blaser family of balloons.
And from the north camera, there's our baby Grand.
Yep, with the music to Yesterday, the Paul McCartney there. You can see the Blaser balloon just up in the corner of the shot between the Wyoming balloon and the other one that's about to come into the frame there.
That's kind of a photobomb shot.
There's Smokey Bear
with
and
Meow Wolf.
Meow Wolf and Dos Equis there behind them.
There's the Wyoming balloon.
Yep.
One of the cowboy balloons behind it.
I saw their van the other day and it says the world needs more cowboys. There is Vampirella, one of the new special shapes here this year, that bright red balloon with the vampire mistress, I guess you could say, on it.
Yeah.
Or depicted by the balloon.
Karen says, must be harder to fly the cow shape. Yep, it definitely is.
Yeah, I had a chance to fly. You may remember the big white polar bear.
Yes.
A balloon that's a very similar sized and shape balloon. I had a chance to fly it out in California one year, and it was amazingly difficult to fly. And the really incredible thing about it was Jim Schiller, who was the pilot that was flying with me, told me when you get ready to land, be sure you get a good visual picture in your mind's eye of the landing field, because invariably what happens, the balloon touches down and the feet were actually lower than the basket, and it would hit the ground. In fact, scared me to death because we were going across a cut field, and all of a sudden I hear this noise.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a propane leak, and Jim says, no, it's the balloon. But when the balloon touches, those legs would turn just slightly, and you'd be staring at this big white piece of fabric in front of you. You couldn't see where the balloon was going to land. So it was really, really tricky to fly a big shape like that.
Lots of nice close-ups of Darth and Yoda just a moment ago.
Yeah, there's Darth. Luke, I am your father.
And there's Yoda.
Fly high, I will.
You got that down.
Yeah, well, years of practice.
Yeah,
there goes Chris Sabia coming up between, just under Darth and a little bit in front in the Wonder Balloon, right there by the sloth.
Heard us talking about Darth, so we had to get the balloon in there. There's one of the fractal balloons.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the early printed ones. You were talking about Cameron Wall's balloon. And Jonathan Wolf worked a lot with Kubitschek to be able to perfect that printing process.
Yeah.
And Jonathan big into the fractals, the idea of the repeating pattern over and over again. And
so that balloon basically was white fabric, and then this artwork with digital images that are then printed onto the fabric, and then the balloon is sewn together. And we have a number of those type of balloons that are here. We talked about Cameron Wall's balloon earlier. The fractal balloon is one. Speaking of puppies, as we were, and naturally, of course, the one that takes off is not the one that I have called up ready to talk about. This is the other one, but give me a moment, and I'll see if I can't get round to this one, and because I promised Mike and
that you wouldn't talk about the cat.
Lovely partner that I would not talk about cats. I would spend some time talking about dogs today. And where is
Let's start from the bottom, see if I can get it.
Well, we have two pictures of Buster. Is it? No.
I don't know. There might be,
I'm not sure if it's in our spotting chart here, but I'll scroll a little bit further along. There's Beagle Maximus, another. We have a lot of dogs here this week, several of them. No, I don't have that one, unfortunately. I have two of Buster, so maybe let me go back and pull that one up.
In the meantime, Smokey Bear is now airborne, and so is our thermal airship. So this is a hot air blimp that he's over here behind.
Oh, I see him. Yeah,
he's on the screen.
Oh, okay, there he is.
Yeah. So it is a hot air blimp. So they fill it up with the air, heat the air just like they do the hot air balloons. Although he has an entire gondola car hanging below it,
right?
With
and
a little
a pusher propeller,
exactly,
on the
so
back.
that he can steer.
So it's a
and fly
thermal
around
airship,
right?
Meaning that it's filled and heated by hot air and gets its lift by hot air. but it has the rear propeller, the pusher propeller.
And there you can see it.
That drives it around, and it has a movable rudder so that it can be steered. There goes Buster, high in the sky, one of the several puppy balloons that we have here.
Look where Arabelle ended up all of a sudden.
My goodness.
We were just talking about,
literally.
Up and, obviously climbed right up and over she went.
Yep.
If you're wondering where we're pointing out to the northwest corner of the field and fairly high.
There is Seabed. Yep, that again is the new balloon of Doug and Patty Grimes.
Is that Sloth checking out the
it might be.
dolphin there?
But there you can see the dolphin and the tortoise, the turtle, on top of the balloon. Again, this was one of those balloons that was printed, all the artwork of the seabed, the ocean floor. And so, yeah, we're trying to come up with names for the turtle. There's Arabelle, and the dolphin. So you can toss your suggestions into our comments if you'd like.
And we'll pass them along. Somebody was saying, where do I submit my names here? Well, we're just kind of taking them in the comments.
we're just having a little fun and passing along. But Doug and Patty will get these after Fiesta, and they can see if there's something they like.
Zarek Wells, his yellow balloon with the mustache, guilty. He's really got that balloon spinning with that turning bend. As he flies down the western side of the field, there's a great shot of the Sloth, the Rax Building Supply balloon. And there's Meow Wolf. Brand new balloon, made its debut on Thursday, 2 days before the official start of Balloon Fiesta. Although we had about 160 balloons out at schools on Friday for something we call Albuquerque
Aloft. Yeah.
The Sloth is airborne as well.
That's a great example of a special shape. It really, really is.
Yeah.
But again, if you look at it, as you say, if you start at the basket and then look up, and right up to about its neck, you can literally imagine the standard round-shaped balloon that creates all of the lift, and then the head is kind of stuck on top of the branch, and the arms and legs all wrapped around what is essentially a standard teardrop-shaped round balloon. And if you look at, as Art said, if you look at most any special shape, you can usually find that round balloon shape somewhere encompassed within that.
So I'm looking above us and watching the balloons here. It appears that the box is coming down, meaning that the winds, the layer going south is much less tall than it was, because now they don't have to go very high.
Yeah, look at Seabed. They didn't go very high, and they're already working their way well out to the west.
Obviously, that's what Arabelle caught as well. So you almost have to stay low to go south. You don't have to go up very high, and you start turning out to the west and then out to the northwest. So yeah, Rio Rancho and Corrales were coming your way.
Yep.
If you haven't figured that out already. Oh yeah, so Sean is asking which way are the balloons going. Glad we could tell you. Hey.
They're going that way.
Yeah, that way. There's a balloon with arrows on it that point kind of at each other.
Yes.
Yeah, the name of the balloon is that way. It used to be, I think they just changed it. But
well, and there's, I think John Petron was the first one to have it. I think it's been sold on a couple of times since. But it has arrows pointing up and down.
Yes.
And I think the name was up or down, if I recall. I think maybe Sandy Graff had that balloon for a while.
So I don't know if we can get a shot of the balloon that's red, kind of scallops with white and multicolors.
The rainbow scallops on the top?
Going up. We talked about with the balloon camp kids earlier today about Kristen Werner, who just got her check ride earlier, last week I think it was. She was a camper. She's lives here in Albuquerque. She goes to the Albuquerque Aeronautic
school you were talking
here,
about?
The charter school that's here. So that is her dad's balloon, and while she obviously didn't get a check ride in time to be registered as any kind of pilot here, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if she's in there with her dad flying that balloon.
Well, you know, I can tell a bit of a story on myself. Back when I got my license in 1990, when you applied as a pilot to Balloon Fiesta, it said student pilots not accepted. Well, I was a student pilot at the time in July when I submitted my application, but I submitted it and just said private pilot 30 hours and figured that's kind of what I would have if I got accepted. And sure enough, I got accepted. And when I showed up for registration, I was indeed a private pilot, and I had about 30 hours in the logbook.
Nice, yeah.
So I kind of snuck into that first Fiesta.
I think we're a little more careful in checking.
Probably
those out
so.
this year.
I kind of bent the rules a bit back in the day.
Yeah.
There is Cool Beans, one of my favorite balloons. Will always be one of my favorites because when I first saw the balloon out here years ago, I called those beans pickles, and I still maintain the green one does look like a dancing pickle on the side of the balloon.
Here's a bird's eye view of actually inflating a balloon.
Oh,
so we
yeah.
got our camera standing right there. Got the person on the throat holding the lines out of the way so they don't get burned. And of course that has been filled with cold air, as we call it. And then you hit the burner and you start heating
and it becomes hot air.
And it becomes hot. Fills out on the bottom. There's somebody holding the line off the crown, off the very top of the balloon, so it doesn't just pop up on you. And it just will slowly rise. You kind of lose that perspective because you follow it up with the camera. And
right.
Yeah, but it's now standing up.
Yep. Now the top of the balloon is overhead. Speaking of overhead, here comes Cameron Wall with his that balloon we were talking about with all of his grandmother's artwork on it, flying directly toward us. And Cynthia Seal has just inflated one of our shapes right in front of the rooftop studio here. As we're probably beginning the second wave, maybe about this time.
We're into the second wave here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and we talked about the BFA youth camps, and I mentioned the website, but if you'd like to get firsthand knowledge, if you're here at Balloon Fiesta and want to learn a little bit more about the camps or anything about the Balloon Federation of America, at 11 o'clock today over in the Pilot Pavilion, we will be having the annual general membership meeting of the Balloon Federation of America. All of the board of directors will be there. Our camp folks will be there. They'll be giving away a number of awards. One that I'm particularly interested in, and when Orv Olivier was here, I mentioned he is the one of the two now chairman of our awards committee, and I just got word that a gentleman whose name I submitted for an award has in fact been given the award or will receive it later today. I can't give it away. Well, it ain't you. Not that you're not deserving, and I wouldn't. I mean, you got a very nice award just a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact.
I did.
But this is one of the BFA's awards, and I don't want to give it away. And if I say much more, I will. But was because I'm not going to be able to make the meeting, given my commitments here on Balloon Fiesta Live, and so I was just asking, or did the award nomination succeed? And he said, indeed, it did. There's Cameron Wall directly overhead. Hey, Cameron. Good morning, my friend. He's waving down to us, and you can see his signature of his grandmother on the bottom of the balloon there.
Oh, yeah.
And her artwork. I love that balloon. We did a story about that balloon in the magazine back in the day when it first was made. Cameron's been a good friend of mine in ballooning now for a few years.
Pat Rolf turned Cynthia around.
Turned Cynthia Seal around,
yeah. We saw her face on the screen here just a moment ago, and there's Bill Brennan getting ready to launch yet another balloon. Let's see if I recognize that pilot. That looks like the B on the jacket, but that doesn't look like a.
That's not a
B basket.
Banner 23, if you want to have a banner list, you can look up. 023. Some of the Longleat Sky Safari fleet are here with us, and there is the koala bear. That is Adelaide, the koala. Longleat is a wildlife park over in the south of England, and a couple of 3 years ago, well, maybe a little longer than that now, they entered into a partnership with a group down, in South Australia, and now have koalas at Longleat. And so the balloon was built to celebrate that and named Adelaide. And kind of like we heard with the ExxonMobil folks, there was a pool of names. Eventually they narrowed it down to 3, and then the public got to vote on their choice, and Adelaide was the winning name.
There's the big hug.
Yeah, the bear and the elephant. We could all use a big hug now and again.
And there's the thermal airship. The folks in the gondola of that going to have a great view of the big hug. The VW bus is up. I don't know if you mentioned that.
No, I didn't. I was about to, but I was watching what was, it's hard to decide what to talk about sometimes because we're looking at, we go back and forth. There it is on screen.
Yep.
I go back and forth between looking at what's in the sky and what's on the camera. And so sometimes we're talking about what's in the sky and we're showing something else on the feed. But yeah, there's a little VW bus. There's one of our sport balloons coming out of the north end of the field, teal, purple, and gold accents. Down here at the south end of the field, the Cool Beans balloon just getting airborne now with the dancing pickle on the side.
And Barney Watson at the controls.
I'm just not going to let that go.
No.
And, there's the new Moonscape balloon over back on the east side. There it is on the screen. You don't see a lot of detail in that picture because of the lighting, but this is literally a replica or a representation of the moon in a hot air balloon. And there is literally a man in the moon, assumingly, because there's a pilot on board. Could be a woman in the moon. Don't want to be sexist. So there's a pilot in the moon.
And they're not really over the moon there. They're kind of under the moon.
No, I said in the moon. Well, they're not really in the moon either. They're under.
Yeah,
well,
they're kind
okay.
of under the moon.
Well, they're in it if the basket's part of the balloon, so they're in the balloon. They're in the balloon, so they're whatever. Anyway, it's a cool balloon.
It is. I know you get this question all the time. What's your favorite balloon?
I do get that question, and actually, the more specific question I get sometimes: what is your favorite special shape?
Yes,
and
that's the next one that comes up.
Andrew Holly asked me that a few years ago, and I said, well, undoubtedly, it is the engine of the Orient Express, the big train engine
the big train,
that we've seen here in the past.
Yes.
And I said that to Andrew one time in conversation. And the next year, lo and behold, I'm on the stage commenting on Sky Safari, and Andrew comes up and says, hey, we've got a surprise for you. And right in front of the stage, they start inflating the Orient Express.
Oh, nice.
The envelope had been brought over just as kind of a surprise for me, and so that was a big thrill. So that's my favorite special shape. I don't really, if I had a special balloon, favorite balloon, I would have to say probably one of my own that I don't have anymore. But
well, mine is kind of my answer is kind of like the one I'm looking at.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like somebody says, what's your
favorite kid?
Yeah,
Which of your kids do you love best?
Or what's your most favorite balloon flight? The next one.
Yeah.
But
the one I'm on.
No, obviously
those are hard questions.
My first balloon, the Yellow Rose, will probably always have a special place in my heart, just because it was the first.
Like your first car. Or
any of those your first date, first
any
girlfriend, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they always have a place there. So.
Yeah. But it's like, who's your favorite kid? There's so many balloons that are awesome balloons, it's really hard to pick a favorite.
Well, the other thing is, there are no ugly balloons. Some are just a little prettier than others.
That's right, yeah. There's another of the Longleat fleet. There is Cymbaloo high overhead, I can see now. The Cymbaloo is the lion, the original shape built for Sky Safari and for Longleat. Longleat, it says, it is a wildlife park. They were the first wildlife park in the world outside of the continent of Africa to have lions. And outside of the building, it's a country estate house. It's like a Downton Abbey kind of place. They have a huge sculpture statue of this giant lion. It is just amazing. And Cymbaloo is their signature balloon. Another of the fleet is in the air. There is Duma, the cheetah, down at the north end of the field. Andrew Holly was flying the balloon yesterday. I'm not sure if he still is today. Duma, by the way, is the Swahili word for cheetah, thus the name of the balloon. And there is Betty's Baby Grand spinning nicely down there. Betty Bowens and Mike Bowens from up in the great state of Utah. And the music on the side of the balloon, if you're a musician, is in fact the music to Yesterday by Paul McCartney.
And we just saw the big hug on the screen, and then the other. Our screen's just right behind you.
Just right behind. Well,
there's Betty.
Cameramen are following our cue. So
because they're doing a great job.
There's Betty. There's Wes the Wolf on screen. Matter of fact, another of the Sky Safari team. Great bunch of folks that fly and take care of Wes the Wolf. They took great care of me over at Longleat, and very much appreciated. It is Ashley Moore who is flying Wes the Wolf, I believe. And they're
coming over the south end of the field here, the little Tinkerbell balloon, the pink and purple one.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
That's actually Pixie Spirit. Caitlin Salazar from just south of us here in Albuquerque and Los Lunas.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's Ken Tatalini going over the other side of the roof with the lots of white with yellow and black at the bottom. For those of you down here in the field, there's the Pixie balloon on the screen.
Yep, on the screen. And yeah, Ashley Moore, I was right, flying West the Wolf out of Bideford in Devon. United Arab Emirates is what it says here. There is, I'm waiting for
Busby on the screen. That's the nose of Busby.
Oh, okay.
Then back to Wes.
I'm watching either Betty or Mike, whoever is spinning Betty's Baby Grand.
They're playing yesterday backwards.
It's actually spinning the wrong direction. Yeah, if it were spinning the other way, if you catch it at the treble clef, you can actually see yesterday 3/4 notes.
Right there. There it is, right, yeah. G, F, F, doing that in the key of F, 1 flat.
1 flat, yep. 4/4 time. Yeah. And there is Duma, the cheetah, coming at us.
Right over Humpty Dumpty.
Yep, nice wave.
There's Betty the balloon on
West the Wolf. There's the Kubitschek balloon. We talked about the manufacturers all have booths here. Many of them do, including Kubitschek. And if you'd like to find out more about hot air balloons, maybe even buy one while you're here, you can do that over in the booths. Lindstrand is here. I would assume Cameron's here. I've not seen them yet personally. Ultra Magic's here. Kubitschek's here. Well, I figured Andy would be here.
Was involved with some of the gas guys as well.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And the Gordon Bennett stuff. So yeah. So a little busy there.
Well, he's been traveling the world. He was just down in Australia, and his wife was flying in the Women's World's National Championship.
And there goes Rich Lawhorn with Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty.
Yep, right over the top of us with Kubitschek.
Sitting on his wall is Humpty.
You can almost see who's got the hand on the burner. Good morning.
Good morning.
Spin it the other way.
Looks like Ashley Moore is going to do a rooftop flyby this morning in West the Wolf. The Sky Safari team are sort of famous for trying to buzz the tower. Seems to be maybe a local competition they have going, coming over the rooftop studio. Wow, it's very laid back this morning. Maybe it's just that yesterday was such an incredible day and the night was so long. I know
with such great conditions, there's not like a hurry to get up.
No, there's not.
This is just.
I mean, even my energy level is just kind of sapped. I'm just kind of sitting here going, wow, this is kind of cool. There's Ashley and team. Good morning, West the Wolf. High overhead this morning. Love the blue eyes. Black and white balloon, and the only color there is those beautiful, they're actually kind of turquoise. Yeah. A turquoise color. Same thing with the Panther if we see it. An all black balloon with just the most piercing gold eyes on the balloon. It's amazing that a single color balloon can be so dramatic. Steve Lombardi getting airborne over near the pilot pavilion in the RNS Motorsports balloon. There it is on the screen. It's a rainbow colored balloon with a black and white spiral around it. Steve and I were just down in San Antonio together at the Remax Skylight Balloon Festival, as was Bill Broker, who's getting airborne now right behind Steve in the City of Plano balloon. Plano, of course, hosts its own very fine Plano Balloon Festival that I was associated with for a number of years, and now you are there as the master of ceremonies.
And I was going to say San Antonio was last weekend, right?
Yes, it was.
And Plano was the weekend before that, so I was with them a week before you were.
That's right.
And now we're all together.
Now we're all together. There's a song in there somewhere. I think the Beatles did it now. All together now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the City of Plano balloon, and that is Bill Broker flying that. Billy. Or actually now they've come up with different nicknames. Now it's like Waldo Billy. He did a Where's Waldo kind of. You were there. You know that more than I do.
So they built a
Waldo hopper.
Yeah, a little hopper in the Waldo colors. And so now, yes, he dresses up as Waldo, and of course everybody wants to know where's Waldo.
So now it's not Billy anymore. It's Waldo Billy, or as I said, Billy Waldo. BWB, Billy Waldo Billy. It all works together.
Yeah.
There is the Panther out toward the center of the field, up in the sky, along with the Penguins. We've got Puddle, Splash, and Tall Steve all in the sky together. But the Panther, as I say, it's just amazing how an all-black balloon, not the best picture of it on the screen because he's still in the shade a little bit, but as it turns into the sun, hopefully, suddenly it has these gold piercing eyes that really bring that shape to life. Look at that.
It's coming together there.
Coming around. And I mean, it's an all-black balloon, for goodness sakes, and yet it is just striking, at least to me. That is, you want to know my favorite balloon next to my own balloon? Probably the Panther. I just think that is a dramatic, just gorgeous, standout balloon. Beautiful.
Steggy.
Yeah, one of our dinosaurs.
Another one of them, yep. There is now a remote control balloon in the shape of Steggy.
Is there? Okay.
There is.
Now, we'll see the RC balloons at some point this week at Fiesta, are we?
Yes, we will. In fact, I'm trying to remember what days now. I know they're going to be at the Glow next Saturday.
I mean, that's another growing part of our sport.
Wednesday and Friday, yeah.
You know, last year we tried for a Guinness World Record and just slightly missed with like...
And literally due to a coordination issue of getting everybody...
Everybody had to be inflated at the same time, and some people started early, some people were late, and we couldn't get we needed like 54 to all be inflated simultaneously, and I think we got up to like 45 or 46.
Something like that.
And it wasn't that we didn't have the balloons here, it was just a lack of coordination, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But RC ballooning is really growing here in the United States. It's been very popular overseas for a number of years. In fact, in Germany, they have entire balloon events that are just for RC balloons, radio-controlled balloons is what we're talking about.
There's Ted and Lindy, Teddy and Lindy.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
From Brazil.
Dale Wong in his balloon just over to our right, passing over the east end of the field. Rancho Cucamonga is where Dale is from. The green balloon with the vertical bands of pink, blue, yellow, and purple. There's Tall Steve, the Penguin Chick. Let's see, what are we looking at on the launch field? Oh, there's
and just heading off the top part of the screen there, the Never Forget balloon, Mark Comandino.
Yep, and there is Baby T-Rex, another of our this is one of the newer dinosaur balloons that's with us, with the T-Rex cracking out of his little egg.
And right next to Baby T-Rex, the other white balloon with the red top, that is the Roadrunner Coyote balloon. Built by Barbara Fricke, who's now, of course, off in a gas balloon.
Yes.
With her husband, Peter. So Judy Nakamura is the other partner in this balloon. So that's got to be Judy Nakamura standing up the Spirits balloon. Spirits in the sky, the idea. Spirits of the Roadrunner and the Coyote. Of course, made famous not only in their cartoons, but brought to ballooning by Sid Cutter as he started doing Roadrunner Coyote races.
As opposed to Hare and Hounds, you guys out here did Roadrunners and Coyote.
And 50 years ago, in 1973, Sid built a Roadrunner, a white balloon with red pennants with the Roadrunner Coyote on it. And so Barbara decided that we needed to kind of bring that balloon back. They were actually able to register the original N number on that balloon as well.
Outstanding.
And as you can see, they put the large size N numbers on it. That's the registration number.
Yeah.
Because they are aircraft. And in the early days,
there was a requirement that letters had to be X number of
12
inches.
or 18 inches tall. Yeah, now it's 3 inches.
Yeah, when we built my first balloon, Yellow Rose, we registered it as N61EN, or N Glen is what I was going for. And the numbers were only like a couple of inches tall.
There's a great shot of the Coyote.
They could be minuscule, but back in the day, they had to be rather large. And as you can see, you could just see it almost on the side of the Coyote there. The registration numbers were quite large. And so to be authentic with that balloon, they went with the larger registration numbers.
Exactly. There are some other differences between that one and this one, but
we
tried to get as close as we could.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talked a lot last night and yesterday about Bert Padelt, who's waiting good weather to make a transatlantic
flight
attempt.
Yeah.
And that he was going to be here for the Gordon Bennett. Bert and his wife Joni actually put the Roadrunner and Coyote together for Barbara and Peter on that balloon.
Okay.
So they sent fabric to Bert and Joni, and it's actually inlaid in there. So yeah, so you can see that when you look up inside there. So Bert and Joni put all that together and then sent the panels back for Barbara to put it into the balloon.
And by inlaid, what we're saying is that the fabric is, the artwork is actually sewn in as a part of the balloon. So if you're inside the balloon, you can actually see that. You can also do what's called overlay, where artwork is just sewn over the top of the already existing balloon fabric. In fact, when I designed Yellow Rose, my first balloon, the parachute top was a Texas flag. And when it was first delivered to me, they had done the white star and the Texas flag as overlay art. So there was just when you were in the balloon, you looked up top, the top was blue, red, and white. You couldn't see the star. And so I had to have them go back and remake the top and inlay the star because I wanted to be able to look up and see the Texas flag above me in the balloon. And so that's a little bit of the difference.
Without that extra layer of stuff.
You literally couldn't see the star because it was overlaid on the exterior top of the balloon.
Yeah.
So I had them go back and inlay it so that when you were in the balloon, you could look up and see the Texas flag above you.
And you can just think about that process. When you do the overlay, here's the fabric, I just sew something.
It's like putting a patch on your jeans, you know, you just sew it right on the top.
As opposed
if you inlay it, you've got to cut out that space exactly, and then it's got to sew it, be stitched in and fill the space perfectly. Yep. Much more difficult.
So I got to follow the progress of that it was like 3 layers to be able to get through that, to be able to get it there, make it, cut through everything, put all those pieces together. Yeah, quite an involved process.
So they had to take fabric and create the Roadrunner and the Coyote, and then they shipped the Roadrunner and Coyote back here.
Well, build it into the white panels as well, because so now the white panels have it.
Okay, so they built it into the white panels, and then the white panels were put into the balloon all together. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So, and then because it's home built, it's an experimental, and that's a whole nother conversation about standard pieces as well. But when it's an experimental, then you have to go through a test phase. So I was lucky enough to put a few.
You got to do some of the test flying.
I got to do a little of the test flying on that balloon right towards the end of the pattern there. And got a chance to fly it up in Angel Fire this summer as well. So great fun, and it's a nice, it's pretty light balloon, flies really nicely up there as well.
So now who's flying it now that Peter? Barbara and Peter are away.
This is going to be Judy Nakamura.
Oh, Judy's flying. Okay.
Judy's flying this, yeah.
All
so Barbara has made, she made one balloon first, then her and Peter made a second one. Then they made the chair that I talked to you about, the chariot one together. And they brought a couple of other people in and made a little, we call it the ABQ Hopper Club.
Okay.
And so they kind of got together, which, you know, a number of people will do that rather than one person buying the balloon. They get 3 or 4
with
or
some
5.
friends and you share the cost.
Yeah, and you make a little club. And that's what we did with the Hopper balloon. And so when they started talking about doing the Roadrunner Coyote balloon, it's Judy, Barbara, and Peter is basically the co-owners, if you will, and club of this one as well.
They do that a lot over in Great Britain, and they call them syndicates over there. But you'll get, you know, maybe 2 couples will go together and purchase a balloon, or 3 or 4 couples will go together, purchase a balloon, and then they crew for each other, and they fly together, and they share all of the operating costs, etc. And it makes the sport a little more affordable in that manner.
And actually, the local balloon club, Quad A, actually got its start that way. Sid Cutter said, well, we're going to get this, and we're going to get more people in. So they had a number of people buy into this, and it became the Albuquerque Aerostat Ascension Association. Club.
Oh, okay.
And so this was a group of people, and to be part of the club, you had to buy into the balloon.
Right.
And you got lessons, and you got the opportunity to fly it. And then at some point, and I don't know what the timeline is, but at some point that got to be, people said, well, you know what, I'm not going to buy into your balloon, I'm going to buy my own.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. And so the club finally at some point said, well, we just got to open it up to other balloon owners and go from there.
Well, Guy Gauthier, a balloonist that you and I both know well, he used to sell balloons in that manner. He would find 5 or 6 or 7 people interested in buying a balloon, and he would get them to all go together and buy one balloon, and then he would train them. And when one person was getting their training, the others would crew, and so they were all part owners in it. But eventually, it would evolve to where somebody said, "Well, I'm tired of just being a part owner. I want my own balloon."
I want to fly what I want.
Yeah, a guy would sell them their balloon. And eventually, 3 or 4 from the club would go out and buy their own balloons. And Guy made a living as a balloon dealer in that fashion, where he would start up generally a small club, like you say, of 6 or 8 people, and they would all buy in partially to a balloon, but eventually someone would want to own their own, and they would either buy out the other members or they would just buy their own balloon. Yeah. And that's how Guy made a living selling balloons.
Kind of a nice scheme there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you kind of get them in at a lower price, and
right.
then it just expands on out. So
absolutely.
So we still have a number of balloons on the field to get through the rest of our second wave of our mass ascension here on day 2 of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. One of the other long-time traditions that we've had here at Balloon Fiesta is to have a poster. We talked about the very first ones that had the Roadrunner and Coyote on them. And then for years they didn't do too many of them, then they kind of came back. And of course it's now become a very main staple of Balloon Fiesta, have an official poster. And we have the poster artist with us for this year, Mr. Kevin Short.
Okay.
So good morning, Kevin.
Good morning. Happy Fiesta.
Hey, are you having a good time?
I'm having a dynamite time.
So Kevin actually is not just the poster artist for us here.
Okay.
So he's got a little more history. Kevin, why don't you tell us the story?
My family moved to Albuquerque back in 1975 from California, and we were looking for something to replace sailing. Oh. And one day we saw balloons flying around town and couldn't believe what we were seeing. And it was the 1975 Balloon Fiesta was our first fiesta, and we walked around in a big smile and eyes wide open. Yeah. And it was within just a few months that my father had met Bob Ruppenthal and Sid Cutter and struck up a friendship, and off we went into becoming a ballooning family.
And so you were a kid at that time?
Yes, I was 15 and just about to turn 16. So I simultaneously got my driver's license and my balloon pilot's license.
Awesome.
And back at that time, it happened to be that I happened to be the youngest commercial pilot in ballooning, just by a matter of process.
But then things progressed with your family getting more involved in ballooning and actually in Balloon Fiesta, right?
Yes. My first paying job was with Bob Ruppenthal, working at a company that just started called Airco, which was a balloon repair company. So spent every day working on balloons and drawing balloons and drawing the logo for Airco. But as we just gave ourselves over to the ballooning community, later my mom became the president of the Balloon Fiesta. And ever since been balloonists and neck deep in it.
But then you moved away.
Yeah, my early days, obviously as a kid in high school, being a balloonist, I wanted to do the poster. Poster was kind of the holy grail of balloon art.
Yeah.
But I was still in high school. My skills were young, and every time I entered a drawing, it wasn't quite good enough.
Uh-huh.
And of course, the posters have a long history of highly skilled artists and collectible artists doing it. And so I went back to California to study art at Art Center College of Design. But in the process, I was still flying for many years, but then realized I probably am not going to do the Balloon Fiesta poster, and essentially gave up on that dream of being a Balloon Fiesta poster artist.
But you learned to become a highly skilled and sought-after artist, correct?
Yeah, thank you. I exhibit in museums.
Yeah, on all kinds of things. So you were selected to be the poster artist this year. Tell me how that came about.
That came about catching up with one of my high school friends who we ran around the Fiesta flying together.
You can drop his name.
I'd be pleased to. Was Matt Guthrie, past president of the Balloon Fiesta.
Yep.
And he came up with the idea, having known that I've done posters for other events, he asked if I would do the Balloon Fiesta, which was almost a can't say no. And I think he knew that.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
So what's it like then to be here now and realize that childhood dream that you had as a teenager, to finally see that come to fruition after you'd sort of given up on it?
It was a very disorienting, overwhelming smile. It was even beyond the I can't believe it. I actually said this to Matt. I said, can I think about it? But I knew I couldn't think about it. Yeah. I knew it had to happen.
Let me think about it for about a second.
It was wonderful, the whole process. And the Fiesta's always been great. And so you're childhood dream to be part of the Fiesta again is great.
So tell us about the poster. What's depicted on it, and what was your inspiration for it?
All I was asked to do was, I was given the title.
There it is on screen.
View from Above, and they just asked to portray my view of what it's like to fly in the Fiesta. And so I found, as a pilot, one of the most magical sights is the backlit glow in each balloon in the morning as the sun's coming over the Sandias.
Yes.
And then I also always like doing splash and dashes in the Rio Grande, so I put all those together looking back at Albuquerque from over the river.
Awesome, awesome. How did you select what balloons to put into the image?
That is actually a tough one, because every balloonist, when they see artwork or photos,
They
of
want their
ballooning,
balloon in it.
They
yeah.
look for their balloon.
Absolutely.
So I had to try to not put known balloons in and change some known balloons.
Okay.
Except
Kind
for a
of make
couple
up
hidden
your own.
ones.
Yeah.
There are a couple hidden balloons in there. One was my very first favorite balloon, other than mine, was the Roadrunner Coyote balloon. It's so wonderful to be here as it launched.
It just
Right,
flew,
just
it just,
launched.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just flew over
me
us.
looking the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know to me that's wonderful to see it again. I just am so happy to see it. But I did hide that balloon in the poster. And if you look closely, you might see my balloon in there and my dad's balloon.
Okay.
So hidden way in there. So those, other than that, it's pretty hard to find a recognizable balloon. And that was a little bit on purpose because it's a lot of people who would like to see their
Yeah.
Like their
poster.
balloon. Yeah, it's kind of like the calendar. That's the very first thing. Is my balloon in the calendar?
Right.
Yes. My
Yes.
balloon on the poster. All of those
And
types
I didn't
of
want to
things.
ruffle feathers because
I
it's the
remember
Fiesta and
how
it's-
thrilled I was the first time we went up to dinner at up at the top of the peak many years ago. And in the gift shop there was a selection of postcards.
Yeah.
And was flipping through there and found a postcard that was a picture of a mass ascension, and I found my balloon.
Oh, yeah. So
in
you probably
there,
bought
know,
out
So
the
I
stock.
bought out the whole stack. You bet. Absolutely. Yeah, we're all that way.
So the title of the poster?
It's called Voice from Above, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
You're asking us? We didn't paint it.
He just got so. Kevin was in town back in August. Because we have signed and unsigned versions of the poster.
Right.
So Kevin was in town to sign all those, and I got a chance to meet him and chat with him about those. And we talked about the name, and it was like he was so wrapped up in the design of the poster and the thrill of Fiesta that the name was just kind of like secondary to
Well,
everything.
it's like you were talking yesterday about how do you build a balloon, like ExxonMobil, how do you build a balloon and not have a name for it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of same thing. You're so involved in the project there. So.
That's right. You get swept up in the creativity.
Yeah,
and you go,
it
Yeah, I
is.
need to name this.
Exactly.
So, let's just tell everybody you can get the posters at our official merchandise tents, both signed and unsigned. You can also get them at balloonfiestastuff.com. Kevin Short, thanks. Great work on the poster. Glad to have it. I think people are buying it up and going to certainly enjoy it. Thanks for coming out and enjoy the rest of the week here at Balloon Fiesta. Glad to have
Thanks
you back.
for having me. Thanks.
All right.
Have a great day.
Congratulations on having a dream come true. Not everyone gets to experience that. That's awesome.
All righty. Yeah, it is a great poster, and we're back. We did a series of the cartoon posters for the last 5 years.
Right, with the Chuck Jones characters in them, yeah.
Leading up to the 50th, and of course that got extended with COVID, so there ended up being 5 in the series. And so we're kind of back to more of just the more, just really gorgeous balloon
Just
and landscape
a
pictures.
more traditional artwork, yeah.
The other thing I didn't ask Kevin about there is that he talks about the spot of the river, because we talked about the river and the reflections there.
Yes.
That the point in the river is actually really close to where his house was growing up as a kid.
Okay.
Which is now, it was one of the houses that was bulldozed over to make the Paseo del Norte almost freeway going across.
Yeah, literally, it is almost like a freeway.
It's a nice loop road that you can go from literally one side of town to the other with very few stoplights in there. And but his house was one of the ones that was actually taken down to put that road in. And the area in the poster is where his house was.
Well, I've been driving Paseo and will for the rest of the week every day. on my route here because I'm in a hotel just up on the other side of I-25.
Yep.
And the quickest way here is Paseo down to 2nd Street, 2nd Street round to Alameda, and Alameda up and into the pilot entry to Balloon Fiesta Park. A few minutes ago, we saw, as we were talking with Kevin, we saw on the screen pictures of the mounted patrol who are here. Quick shout out to all of the great law enforcement people that are involved. The city of Albuquerque, Bernalillo, the county, the state troopers are here. They're doing yeoman's work on crowd control and traffic control out there. But the mounted patrol is always a hit. They come out and spend some time on the field, and they're always a crowd pleaser. I don't see where they are out there. I'm sure they're out there now. Oh yeah, they're down there by the top of that black balloon that's inflating.
Yeah,
just to the left of the, is that another dinosaur balloon there, that bright orange one?
Yes, the orange
yeah,
one,
I can see the horses just there at the top of that black balloon.
And if you continue from this view, keep looking all the way out there in the far northeast corner of the field.
Yeah.
That's on this side. All of our RC balloons are starting to inflate out on the far northeast
corner.
corner.
I see, yeah, down just to the left.
And there they are.
Yeah,
so
just to the left.
There's the Steggy, the little Steggy special.
Okay, yeah, little special shape Steggy. That's an RC balloon.
Right. And there's Zia.
Zia.
And is that, not sure what the red one is, because there's a number of red ones. But you can see that they're made of the same fabric that our balloons are made of. They've made their own wicker baskets.
Yep.
They have propane burners,
Yep.
much smaller tanks and everything, that we keep them on a tether so that they don't fly away, because there's nobody in them to land them and bring them back.
Though some of them do have rather interesting characters in
Most
the baskets.
Of them do, yes, they do. Yep, and so they just remotely, with a remote control, like you would with a plane or a car, fire the burner off and put some heat in it, and it actually rises. And as you said, it's becoming a really great and expanding sport in the U.S.
Oh, that's the firehouse dog.
Yeah, there it is. Now that I see the red,
that's his red hat that we were seeing earlier. But
we'll
now
see the full size of that this Thursday.
That's right.
And Friday.
Yeah, here for the special shapes.
Yep, and there's the Zia balloon in there.
Yeah.
And they're getting into. It didn't take long. It took quite a while to move from regular shaped balloons to special shaped balloons. In the RC world, it took them like a couple of months.
Yeah, right.
To start figuring out how to do that. So.
And a lot of those balloons are actually replicas. They are mini-me's, if you will, of true balloons. A lot of them are the balloon pilots themselves have gone out and had an RC balloon made or made it themselves of their own balloons.
And sometimes it's the spouse or the kid that flies it.
Exactly.
If the pilot's off in the big balloon.
Yeah, well, Zarek and Karen Wells have done that, where they have Guilty, and then Karen in particular has really gotten into the building of RC balloons, and they have a little RC Guilty.
And their daughter is starting to fly and make those balloons,
That's
the
right.
RC balloons as well.
Yeah.
Cadence. So, hey, Diane Carlson has stood Bandit up out there.
Bandit's up, yeah.
Yep. Just kind of mixed in there with the puppy dog, the fire dog RC balloon. It's a great way and a fairly inexpensive way to get into the sport of ballooning, because all of the principles are the same. You don't need a license to fly it. You don't have to go through all the schooling and check ride stuff. And you also kind of get into the whole idea of creating it and building it.
Yeah, I actually looked into getting one built, talked with Karen about it, but I spend far too much money on bass guitars.
And amplifiers.
And amplifiers, yeah. I'm a bit of a vintage collector in that regard, and so...
And you can only play one at a time.
That's true. But...
Are you one of these guys that changes bass for every song when you play one?
No. I typically play one today, and when I'm playing tomorrow, I'll pick a different one, and then the day after that, a different one.
Play a different one, yeah.
And the whole thing with the amplifiers was I was just trying to collect enough to get... initially, I was going to collect one in every color. I collect what are called their custom amps from the 1970s.
Yep.
They were tuck and roll upholstery, and they were made in various sparkle colors. There were 7 different colors. And initially, I was set out to get one of every color, and then I kind of changed horses in the middle of the stream and said, no, I'm going to collect enough, and I want to duplicate the colors in my own personal tartan, which is 3 colors of blue, 1 red, and 1 white. So I now have 3 different shade blues. I have a navy blue, a dark blue, a royal blue, and a sky blue custom amp, and then I have it's technically silver, but it looks white, a white one, and a red one. And so those are the 5 colors in my tartan. So that's the 5 vintage amplifiers that I have. And then never mind the 22 or 23 bass guitars that go along with them. But yeah, I spend too much money on that to get involved in RC ballooning.
Just continuing to look at the sky as we kind of watch the remotes on the screen.
Yeah,
we've had a few go up way high and kind of get out to the north. Most of them are taking taking that northwest pattern.
Excuse me, I'm having a yawn attack from last night, late hours last night. Yeah, most of them have headed out to the river and
beyond.
And beyond, infinity and beyond.
Yeah. See Tammy Schrum and her camo balloon.
Yeah, she launched while we were talking with Kevin. I saw her taking off from the field.
So there's Sean Spiker.
We've actually
he
got
was
a
up
balloon.
with the Krispy Kreme glow. He was part of the gut-wrenching balloon? Yeah, he was up with the Krispy Kreme. That's he's been up a little while.
We've actually got a balloon coming back and landing on the field now, right over not far this side of the stage. There he is.
Yeah.
Just dropped into the crowd there. There may be some balloons that will come back and land. I doubt there'll be many this morning.
Those 3 or 4 that are still far
way
out
out
to the
north might come back, but not like it's not going to be like yesterday, where we had a lot of them. There are a lot more of the RC balloons, so there's generally a whole new Fiesta getting started down there at the north end of the field. So if you're looking for some entertainment, that might be a place to make your way to see some of these little RC balloons.
And of course, lots of booths and vendors and things to do all along Main Street.
There's a shot of the truck.
Oh yeah, that's the inside of our production. There they are,
where
waving.
Balloon Fiesta Live really comes to life.
The top-notch production team of Windfire
Productions. These guys do a great job. They impress me every time. Last night in particular, they were really humping it to pull off all of the audio and the video and the working between us and down on the Gordon Bennett platform. And yeah,
and
hats off.
We talked last night too, when we do America's Challenge and maybe we have 6 or 8 balloons, we can take our time and still get them off fairly quickly. Tomas talked this morning about trying to get them off in a small window so that you minimize the competitive distance between the launch times.
Yep.
We take our time with America's Challenge a little more, but to get 16 balloons off last night.
They were knocking them out, one right after the other,
And to keep up with those, be able to play the anthems and all that other stuff, what a great job, what a great show that was last night.
It was awesome, and again, hats off to Regan Tetlow for the job that he did last night down on the field. It was fun watching and listening to him work, and all of his background information that he had on each of the pilots was really impressive.
Thanks in part to our other friend, Kim Vesley, who wrote a lot of those.
She compiled a lot of that for him?
She compiled a lot of information for him,
Yeah.
so that he could be up to speed on that. There's the dyno on the screen. In fact, speaking of Gordon Bennett, we're going to be joining them here in just about 20 minutes, a little less than 20 minutes. We'll be going back up to them and checking in and getting an update on what's happening with the Gordon Bennett race.
Jeez, it's only 8:41. I feel like it's noon.
Well, we did basically 9 hours of broadcast yesterday.
I have a feeling every one of them still.
And we're coming up on the end of hour number 3 this morning. So
and then we'll be back this afternoon for another few hours. That's why I say I had to sadly beg out of the BFA's annual general membership meeting takes place at 11 to about 1. Normally I'm there, but I had to get to my boss and our president and say, if I get there, I'm going to be falling asleep. I overslept my alarm this morning, so it was lucky that I got here on time.
Yeah, and not good for somebody to be sleeping in the meeting.
No, it's not, because I tend to snore, and it would be a bit
worse.
It'd be a bit embarrassing. So I need to be locked away in my hotel room when I'm sleeping, and I plan to be doing that within the very short, near future. Hey, we haven't talked about
we haven't done this yet. Here,
That's right. We need to do that.
We need to get this thing going here. So. Let's just we'll start right here. We'll bring the shot up here.
There we go.
And so there is this license plate design that has been pretty famous here in New Mexico, and it's a balloon license plate with the yellow and red and the orange, the colors that we know of the Land of Enchantment here. And so I had this idea that I would have a couple of these made for some of the Balloon Fiesta Live staff, and now people are saying, oh, yeah. So in working with the sign store and Al Padilla over at the sign store, we decided we'd make a bunch of them, and we're going to give them away right here on the air.
You can have your very own. I have my very own.
You have yours, and you didn't have to enter.
No, I did not have to enter, but I did win.
You did win one, and you can win one by going to the
Entering
QR
right
code.
there.
Yep, scan the QR code that's on the screen, and go to the form, put your contact information in. We do ask you some questions about how you watch Balloon Fiesta Live, what you like and don't like. Those are optional questions. We appreciate those. They've been fun to read.
Yep.
And so all you have to do is put your name in there. We're pulling 3 names every single session. So we've given 6 away, 3 yesterday morning, 3 last night. We're about to pull some more names this morning to pull 3 more names. And so go to that QR code. If you're on the field and you can't see the QR code, you can just go to balloonfiesta.com, click on the Balloon Fiesta Live page, and the link is there.
And please register only once. If we find duplicates, we will pull them out. It's not like you have to register every session. Once you've registered, you're in for the whole contest.
You're in, and the earlier you get in, the more chances you have to win.
Right,
of course.
but you don't have to register, and please don't every session because that just convolutes things. So once you registered once, then you're in for all of the drawings. And then we'll be delivering them to you after Fiesta. As you can imagine, Art is a bit busy this week, but we'll have the names on record, and then we'll send those in the mail to you. So yesterday you had Brad Tiemeyer pick some numbers out of the sky, out of the blue.
So we'll have to find somebody to pull some numbers here, but I think what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think we'll let the Gordon Bennett guys do their update, and we'll get some numbers pulled during that
during
update.
The update, okay.
And we'll announce this morning's winner right after that as we kind of wrap up here this morning.
And these are metal, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. You can, if you're like me, live in a state that does not require a front plate, you can mount these right on your car, and they will last. This is not a cheap piece of cardboard or plastic. These are very well done. And in fact, I would put mine on right now mine's in my windshield.
Right.
I can't put it on the front of the car because my car requires a bracket, and I don't have that here with me in New Mexico. But when I get home, I will, and this will go on my front plate. And it's even the right color of red to go with my car.
Well, yes, it is. It is. So, so you can get your own Balloon Fiesta Live license plate.
That's
hopefully, by entering our contest, and we'll be giving those away, like I said, about 3 every single session. And I will make arrangements to get them to you, mail you to them. I have to tell you that I put the link up on the website Wednesday or Thursday and didn't tell anybody. I just put the link up. And before we started ever talking about it, we had like 60 entries.
Wow.
And then every time we talk about it, we get a whole slew of entries.
Sure.
And I should have gone to sleep last night, but I actually took a look at the list, and I think we were over 1,100. And Steve, do you have those, Gary, do you have the maps that I gave you earlier? That's where the entries are from, just in the United States.
Wow. Now, can the international viewers enter as well? And
so
you'll
let's
ship
go
them
to the
overseas?
other map. Yeah,
okay.
We go to the other map.
Oh, look
There's
at that.
where they're coming in from around the world. All the way down in Australia.
South America,
South
Africa, South Africa.
People,
wow.
Yeah. So people are
Asia?
watching. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's where the people are. Those are the entries. I just take the city, state, and country, plug it into a map, and that's where people are applying from. So, get your entry in early.
If we could just make them go like little gas balloons, fly all over the world.
So it's really amazing at the response to that, and thank you all for entering.
Awesome. Yeah,
and
thanks for viewing. That's the more important thing for tuning in.
And I do appreciate all the comments that are in there. I'll share those with you at some point.
Yeah.
But there's some great comments in there. People actually who had never seen us before.
You can cut the ones that say I like Art and don't like Glenn. I don't need to
I'll
see
skip
those.
over those.
Skip those. Yeah.
I'll skip those. So here's a view from our officials pilot tower.
Yeah. Now that tower used to be right over here in front of us, and we could actually talk back and forth to those folks. But this year, it's been moved well around to our left as we have greatly expanded sponsor hospitality. So now we have an even greater view than we ever had before here on the rooftop studio, and we always maintain this is the best view in the house, without question. But now with the officials tower moved further around to our left, there's our view. We can see the entire field. It's just amazing to be up here on the rooftop.
I do miss seeing the officials right there, being able to kind of yell across the roof, but they're not blocking our view anymore.
Especially when we had a question, we could say, hey, what's going on? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Especially competition-wise and whatnot, as we'll get into later in the week.
Tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow. Yeah, well,
tomorrow.
That's later in the week. But we now have this amazing panoramic view of the entire balloon field here, which just, as I said, really emphasizes what I've always said, is that we have the best view in the house here from the rooftop studio for Balloon Fiesta Live. There's one of the teams deflating their balloon. You can see how they let the air out of the top of the balloon, and then the crew will bunch up all the fabric starting at the basket and they'll work their way toward the top and squeeze all of the air out of it to get the balloon packed back into its bag and ready for its next flight.
I always like when balloons land back on the field when the spectators are around, so they can see that part of it. Too often when balloons fly, they fly and they go away and they land somewhere else, and you don't get to see the conclusion of the flight. So you don't get to see the pack up, and so it's nice when we do get them back here on the field.
The only
we
time
can watch that process.
The only time I don't like it when they land back on the field is, as you said, tomorrow when we begin competition, and a lot of times the pilots fly into the field from the north, hit the target, and then they're allowed to land here on the south end. You get to go down and be at the target, so you can see everything that's going on. I'm up here on the rooftop, and when all those balloons come and start landing along the south end here, my view of the competition activity just kind of goes away. So that's a little.
And we do encourage the pilots to put the balloon down as quickly as
we
possible.
We do. Well, not to be fair, no.
Not just for your view.
Well,
but, because there's a whole lot of
other
balloons coming in.
To be honest, not at all in deference to my view. It's in deference to the pilots coming behind them who want to land. It just happens that it works out. It helps my view as well. I say I don't mind it. I mean, it's part of the event and it's great fun.
Yeah.
But it's just an inconvenience when all of a sudden my view of the competition kind of goes away, which is a reason why we have you down on the field at the target where you can see and describe the action right up close and personal.
And all the other camera angles, because on the camera on the north, after the balloon flies over, then you can see them coming in from the main stage. You got a nice side view as well.
Yeah.
So we talked about our great production crew with Windfire Productions. We have it covered with all the different camera angles. We will have it covered all weekend, all week, as well as through next weekend. And you can go back and watch not only the shows from this year, but from the last 6 years.
That's right, back when we were young.
Yeah.
Or younger.
I tell people, there's more than 250 hours of Balloon Fiesta Live that's up online.
Yeah. Well, I get to thinking every year when I come out to Albuquerque, this is my 34th year on the mic, and I was here for a year prior to that in 1989, and then I came out as a spectator for the first time in 84, but from 1990 until now, 2 weeks of each year, I live here in Albuquerque, and that adds up to more than a year of my lifetime I have spent here as a resident, a temporary resident of Albuquerque. I mean, 34 years, 2 weeks a year, 2 times 34 is 68, and there's, 52 weeks in a year? So, yeah, so more than a year I've lived as a temporary resident of the city of Albuquerque. That's why
do you pay taxes here yet?
I do not, no, but I also don't get to vote, and I don't get any special preferential treatment as far as speeding tickets. I've asked previous mayors and governors about that. I've tried to get a New Mexico passport, but it just hasn't worked out.
Maybe that's why you ask them. Maybe that's why they don't come back up here and talk to us. Well, actually, yesterday we put the mayor in a balloon.
Thank you for that.
We put the mayor in a balloon yesterday, and
rather than subject him to my haranguing, we put him into a balloon
where he gets
so he can enjoy himself.
Well, he's with the president of the Balloon Fiesta. You don't think there was a conversation going on up there?
I'm sure there was.
Since this is a city park,
I just hope it wasn't a conversation about me. That's oh goodness, no. And there's no place I would rather be for 2 weeks a year than I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I weren't in Albuquerque for the first 2 weeks of October.
Well, it's always good to have you here, and
well, thank you.
I know that it's great fun for me, and I wouldn't. I'm not sure what I would do if I were. Well, I guess I'd be out flying balloons.
You'd probably be out flying or crewing,
or crewing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
might have helped put up the gas balloons last night. So
well, and you know, I think we were talking yesterday. Back in the early days, I did get the best of both worlds. Initially, I was hired just to announce on weekends. Because Tom Rutherford, the original voice of Balloon Fiesta, did the weekdays by himself, and then I subbed in and did the weekends because Tom did work down on one of the TV stations. And so in the early days, I had the best of both worlds. I got to be the announcer. I also got to be a pilot. So on the Saturday and Sundays, the opening and closing weekends, I'd be on the tower announcing on the PA system, and then Monday through Friday, I was flying my balloon in the competition and in Fiesta and doing the balloon glows. I've got still one of the...
I remember those days. Yeah,
I still have,
swapping.
one of the 8x10 pictures at home of the balloon glow when I got my balloon Yellow Rose was right up here on like A4.
Yeah.
And we did the overhead picture from the airplane.
A lot of those at the time,
and because I had that Texas flag top in my balloon, that's my balloon right there, lit up in the glow.
Doubt. Yeah, no doubt about it.
So those are the great, you know, I mean, I love what we do now with Balloon Fiesta Live. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else here. But back in the early days, it was great fun to be both the announcer and one of the pilots and get to fly in the event.
Well, these are days like today are the days that, this is great fun. Yeah,
I'm sure
there's
there's
a little bit of yearning
both of us
about,
who are thinking, boy, it would be nice to be up there flying today,
nice
wouldn't it?
Yeah. But I really do enjoy this and chatting with all the people online and
absolutely
seeing all the pilots, and it's just,
it's a unique role that we enjoy, and I'm honored to have been able to continue at it for so long, and hopefully perhaps for a little bit longer. You never know. And it's great working with you. It was amazing after 25 years of working with Tom, when he had to step aside and retire. Then we were fortunate to find you to step into his shoes. Initially, as just the co-anchor on the PA, and then you brought. We both have broadcasting in our backgrounds. You brought all of your broadcasting expertise to the fore to create Balloon Fiesta Live, work with Windfire Productions, and now you're the executive producer of the show that we do. And you don't get, by any means, the credit that you deserve for the work that you do and the hours you put in on this. But it's added such a dimension to Balloon Fiesta. And you know,
really
and I
has.
know, initially there was some kickback about, but if people can see it on TV or
will they show
online,
up?
will they come out to the field? And there was some, maybe a little bit of angst about that. And we've proven that, not only do the crowds get larger and larger here, but now we have, upwards of 1 million views, and from people all around the world. Who tune in and watch Balloon Fiesta.
It's bringing more people here.
Absolutely.
And we understand that you can't come here from, especially abroad, international, every single year. The expense is just too great. But you now plan for that. You make your trip here, and you keep up with things on the years that you don't get here.
Absolutely. I mean, because we've had viewers from China, we have viewers from Australia, from
you
all
saw
over.
the map.
Yeah, you saw the map all over, and those were just entries for license plates, folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's unreasonable to think, well, those people will come back year after year after year after year. They can't do that, but they can use Balloon Fiesta Live, the experience that they see, to think. And we see that in our comments all the time. Wow, what a great event. I would love to go do that sometime. And so many of those people do. They make plans, they make a trip out, and they do come to Fiesta. And they're enticed to do so because of Balloon Fiesta Live. And so, that's kind of a nice legacy that this program has created for itself, and we're quite proud of that.
I'm doing executive producing things.
Are you? You're producing over there? Okay, well, go right ahead. I'll just continue to blether on here to listen to myself talk.
Yeah, working on the schedule because we're about ready to have a band.
I was going to say.
Band on the stage at 9 o'clock, but we also are going to do our 9 o'clock Gordon Bennett update.
I was going to say, we're coming up to the update for the Gordon Bennett folks for Gordon Bennett TV. The thermal airship is out over the field for those of you on the field, and you can see it online as well right now above the KOA balloon. Although this shot is from the north field, so it looks like the airship is behind the KOA balloon. From our standpoint, the airship is closer to us. There's a great shot of it. The Fiesta powered by ExxonMobil. Thermal airship, and by thermal airship, it's not a blimp. A blimp is filled with gas and then has propeller-driven motors that drive it around in the sky. A thermal airship is like a hot air balloon. The envelope body of the aircraft is actually filled with air and then heated to provide lift, so it's a hot air, and then it has a pusher propeller and a steerable rudder that allows you to fly the balloon, the airship around steer it unlike you can do with a balloon, and so it is technically a thermal airship. Its lift is provided by hot air. The propulsion is provided by a pusher propeller, as opposed to a blimp where the lift is provided by either helium or hydrogen, a gas.
So our game plan here is that we're going to, just in a couple of minutes, check in with our Gordon Bennett TV folks.
Okay.
And keep that up on our stream for everybody. We'll keep it up on the PA as well. If you're down there by the Main Street stage, we've got the band starting at 9 o'clock, and Bill Royal will be down there. And after we finish with our Gordon Bennett TV folks, we'll let Bill reintroduce the band down there. And,
okay.
But so if you're by the stage, you'll be able to hear the band. If you're by the other speakers, you'll be able to listen in on our Gordon Bennett update. And, of course, those of you on the stream, you're going to get the Gordon Bennett update as well, as will we.
The update will be up on the video wall, too, if you're here on
It will be on the
Balloon
video
Fiesta
wall,
Park.
yep, if you're there
so you can watch
as well.
Regan and Tomas and whoever else his guest might be.
Don't forget, tonight we'll be back on the air at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, and we'll bring you a recording of the Fast Tracks jump. We'll get into our Balloon Globe, the original Balloon Globe.
Sunday night Balloon Globe.
Always started on a Sunday night.
Yep.
And, of course, we've got another drone show tonight, Fast Tracks with their pyrotechnics jump tonight, and our Afterglow fireworks.
But hopefully it'll be a slightly earlier evening tonight than it was last night.
Everything should be on time tonight, yeah. And then starting tomorrow, we have 3 days of only morning events.
Right, competition.
Monday and Tuesday competition. And on Wednesday, it will be another mass ascension with the Flight of the Nations.
That's right.
And then special shapes on Thursday and Friday. Both morning and evening.
And then we go back to our weekend schedule for the closing weekend.
Well, with a whole lot of additions, because next Saturday we've got an eclipse
glow.
Place.
That's right.
So, and Music Fiesta on the second
Oh,
Saturday.
yes, Music Fiesta.
So next Saturday, plan to be here very early. We think there's going to be a huge crowd, and it will go all day. So we're gonna go ahead and throw it upstairs to the Balloon Museum and to Regan up there, and we're going to go ahead and get an update on where our 16 Gordon Bennett gas balloons might be today and how things are going after launching out of here last night. So here we go, Mr. Regan, take it away. What's happening?
Thank you very much, Art. Thank you very much, Glenn, over there at the top of the roof. Great to have you in our ears, as always. Very good morning. It's Gordon Bennett TV. It's our 9 o'clock update. A very good morning to everybody down there on the field as well. We were having a bit of a walk around earlier, Randy. There's so many amazing people. Randy Lefebvre joins us in the studio, chief meteorologist of the Gordon Bennett race. How's it going?
Good, sir. Thank you very much.
How's your morning been so far?
It's been good. It's nice to participate with the hot air and then come up and do Gordon Bennett.
Okay, Randy. Well, let's have a look at some content we got through this morning. These balloons, they get the most beautiful sunrises. Let's check in with USA 3 with Sherry White and Mark Sullivan.
Just past Santa Rosa on I-40, and the sun is coming up. And here's pilot Mark. Good morning, Mark.
Morning.
Okay. Coming up over New Mexico, and we're scanning the horizon.
Yeah, and we've got some more beautiful video, two of them there.
Lily and Benny Eimers flying beside us in the morning. Full morning, you can see this beautiful canyon we're flying in. We're down low, the winds are a little bit faster down low. And having a gorgeous flight. Have a nice day.
Incredible sight, Randy. Hey, that beautiful sunrise and the landscape is absolutely gorgeous. We also got some content through from Germany too. Let's check out with the guys.
Hi guys, this is Team Germany 2. We've been in the air for about 4 hours. It's 1 o'clock at night. We've been flying quite low for the last 4 hours, which worked really well. We have a good direction at the moment. Nice sight over the countryside here, and we hear a lot of dogs. And yeah, and well, we feel quite well, right?
Yeah. It's I mean the whole day was a bit exhausting. At first nothing was happening due to the gusts, and then we had to do everything at a very fast pace. to get ready in time for the takeoff. But yeah, we made it, and now the night is. We've had less challenging nights, so to speak, but due to our nice equipment we have, thanks to the friends who lent it to us, it works quite well. Even the low flying through the night.
It's good. Yeah, I think under us there's a party ongoing. Yeah, we just want to make the video to thank everybody to make that flight happen. Basically everybody who is somehow involved in preparing those events and helping us out to make things possible. So I think you will get another video from us later today or probably in the morning with sunrise. So thank you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Incredible stuff they're doing, and with night vision as well. It really is very special. Let's give you an update on the scores. Currently in third place, Team Great Britain on 334 kilometres. Second place, USA 1 on 339 is still in the lead. Spain 1 on 352. An ever developing situation. So Randy, meteorology. Let's talk about a little bit what's been happening.
Good. So I'm going to talk about from my perspective, the meteorology and how all this plays out, not specific to it, just about the meteorology. So there's probably at least 3 strategies that are playing out right now, and it'll be very interesting to see which strategy they choose.
Yes.
So from my perspective, I'll talk about, if I can have one of the screens up. So what we have here, I'm going to turn here and look, but you have this high pressure ridge and this trough here, and this is 700 hectopascals. And so the strategies here on Albuquerque, they took off, and for the most part, they stayed low to stay out of this really slow wind. You've heard several of the videos going faster. But right here, this is going to be a decision point here. What are they going to choose? Are they going to stay low and try to and then climb up and catch this faster winds here? So that's probably the predominant strategy, and get out to the East Coast, maybe Virginia. Another strategy, though, equally plausible, would be if they stayed low and stayed around the area for a period here at night. And Mark, we're going to have to go up one thing, and then so into Monday or Tuesday, you can see that there's this north little speed going, what we call the low-level jet. It's about 1,500 meters above sea level, and so this will take them north with some good speed. If you look at into Monday, you can see that they'll go. So you have the 2 strategies. You have the one going this way, and then the one potentially going this way, and there's actually even a third that they might even try to go down this way. So you have at least 3 strategies that'll be very interesting. You can see from the Great Circle where if you take the north strategy, you'd have to get up pretty far up into Canada to match what you get over here, and if you took the south strategy, you'd have to get well into southern Florida. So which way the teams navigate the meteorology. And for me as a meteorologist, I'm excited to see, okay, we have 3 options, and just to see which one they choose. So
from the first briefing before we actually started the race, what's changed for you? What's been the big change?
When we first started looking at on Friday, the pattern that ridge and trough pattern here was very stable. It still is, but it was very stable. And on Friday, most of the perspective or the race was in this slow blue wind here. But on the Saturday and more frequent updates, the atmosphere is changing a little bit. You're getting a little bit of this flow. You still have the high, but you're getting this flow this way now in the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. And as the atmosphere is setting that up, you're getting a little bit more faster east to west wind, and that's what the teams are taking advantage of. It's nice to see. It really makes a nice race.
If you've got any questions for Randy while we're live right now, get them down in the comment section and we'll give you a shout out. Let's just check in with Mark, see if we've got anything coming through at the moment.
There is one question from Christoph Wagner that he would like to see some forecast. Now, we already talked about forecast for the directions, but what about forecast on the weather in general?
Well, we're going to come to that at the end of the show. We're going to get into the predictions and what we think is going to be coming up a little bit later. That's what we're going to leave. We'll tease you with that. So stick around. That's why you have to stick watching right till the end to get the predictions from our meteorologist. We don't want to give you all the good stuff too early. Don't forget the hashtag GB2023. Get your pictures as well, where you are and where you're watching. We would really love to hear from you, and keep those comments coming in as well. Right, we're going to go to another video now. We've got some great content from Germany 1. Let's check up with the Eimers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is 7 o'clock. Mountain time.
Flying with about 30 knots. Quite low. Nice low level here. We fight through the night and worked good. So could save plenty of ballast, and yeah, we continue now. Sun's rising.
Everybody sleep 3 hours.
So normally we don't want to climb a lot because there is no wind at all. So we will need to see how we continue and show you some of the very nice landscape here.
Farmer. Advance a little bit coyotes.
As you see, there's one farm somewhere.
And we see one balloon.
Very remote area here with some roads. And we have one balloon north of us. And yeah, we are feeling good. It was a nice night, not so cold. And yeah, see you later. Bye bye.
See you later.
Morning again. So we checked our head. Now to the official one. And yeah, we are in good shape. So continuing here, trying to catch the good wind, fighting against the sun that will lift the balloon. And yeah, the sun is already very, very hot, and we need to install our sun cover very soon.
18 degrees in the moment, and I think 1 hour it's maybe 30 degrees.
So enjoy the trekking, enjoy the flights, and good luck to all other teams. And some nice words to Titi. So
yeah,
we are feeling very sorry for that. But yeah, makes no sense. Balloon in the night. Yeah, right decision. Good luck. See you soon. Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Yeah, some nice comments there about France 3, who unfortunately didn't get to launch. Don't forget to keep your comments coming through. Follow all the tracking at live.gordonbennett.aero. And Randy, talking about the thermal action a little bit.
Right. So we saw on the screens the high pressure, that ridge, and that's usually clear skies. So at nighttime, the atmosphere will cool a lot, and the balloons will sink and try to fly. In this case, the fastest winds are in that low level, so that was very nice for them. And you saw in a couple of the videos, Regan, that they commented how we were in the low above the ground, and they were having fun, but it was a little scary flying so low. Well, now as the sun comes up, the balloons heat up, and that causes the air in there to expand and lighten up a bit, and so the balloon will actually rise. I think they were saying they were, for the Fahrenheit, they were at 70 degrees, which is quite warm, but now as the sun's coming up, they may get to 90 degrees Fahrenheit in the balloon, and the balloons, they're trying to stay low. to go up, and so they're having to negotiate how to handle the balloon, the heating of the balloon. You talked about getting sunscreens on. That's for them, but the balloon is also doing it. A lot of times the balloons are light colored,
yes,
white or yellow, just to help mitigate or prevent some of that heating. So it's a little bit more controllable. But yeah, I think they're going to have a good day with that.
We got some more content from Noah Foden and Brenda Calishaw and one. Let's check in with those guys.
Well, happy good morning to you from the USA 1, Noah Foden and Brenda Calishaw. We're just watching the sun poke its nose over the horizon here, a glorious sunrise, and our first night in the balloon together. So what do you think, Brenda?
I think it was fantastic. It was a beautiful night.
It's a great night. It's very dark. We had no moon in the beginning. Sliver of a moon as it came up pretty late, but we were very low over quite a bit of the night and trying to stay low to get into the fast going east. And we were over a very, very dark part of New Mexico, so not a lot of lights and not a lot of comfort, not being able to see the ground and really flying on instruments, totally an instrument flight last night. So it's exciting to see the sunrise and to be able to see the ground again, and so just a great first few hours of the race. Yep. What'd you think about the launch, Brenda?
I thought the launch was really good, considering the fact they were trying to launch 17 balloons and the short amount of time that we had, and really everybody did a great job to make sure that we all got off the ground safely, and we couldn't ask for more than that.
Absolutely. We had an issue with our sandbags in the beginning. Tremendous winds in Albuquerque the night before launch, and I think the tarp of our covering our sandbags got blown off, and so there was some confusion about whether whose sand it was and getting it to us. So, and thankfully the competitors next to us, the French, I think it's French one, Eric de Sellier and Ben, loaned us some of their sandbags, which was incredible sportsmanship. Very laudable, so thank you, gentlemen. We really appreciate that. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
So good to see Noah and Brenda in competition. So great to meet Brenda as well. We've been communicating for quite a while. Christoph Wagner at the top of the show. Weather. What's the weather going to be? Well, our weatherman's here. What's the weather going to be?
Sure. So, fortunately, this is a very nice race from a weather perspective and safety. A lot of what we try to do is keep everybody safe. Right. And since high pressure dominates most of the United States for this race, it should be fair weather. We're expecting, I don't really expect precip or convective thunderstorms, which are typical. And so I think that'll be good. And cloud-free, they don't have to battle going in and out of clouds and having the balloon. We talked a little bit about the heating, making the balloon rise, and clouds will actually make the balloon cool. And so they're having to constantly do that. But because of the here, fairly nice conditions across pretty much for the whole race. I don't expect weather from a weather perspective, other than the winds that they're trying to do well on. From a weather perspective, I don't see anything that's of concern in this race.
About what you think might happen or not?
No, that's fine. It's my thoughts on this. I think since we have three strategies, I think most of them will try to do get this basically from west to east along this corridor. We the Interstate 40, the freeway. What most of the teams will choose. And then this second one here is equally interesting, but I think from a prediction point, I think it's going to be somewhere in the Virginia area. Right. We'll see.
Well, with the teams, it's not all just about flying, you know. There's housekeeping to be done. Somebody's got to cook the breakfast. Let's catch up again with Germany 2 and Benedict Monks and Matthew Scale.
Good morning, guys.
Hello there from Germany 2.
We had a really great night. As you probably heard in the last show, it was super interesting, flying low and super fast. And yeah, since we just woke up, or I just woke up, we would like to show you how our normal morning in the basket starts. So we have one person preparing breakfast and the other one doing just some housekeeping. So have a look. Have a great day, guys. See you later.
See you later.
Yeah, good. And message coming through, Mark Langenfield. Good morning. He said, GB excitement. Good to hear from you, Mark. Always a good supporter of the show and of ballooning worldwide. Good to see the boys keeping it all nice and clean and looking after the breakfast as well, Randy. Are you going to come back and join us on another show a little bit later?
I would like that. It's always nice talking to you, Regan.
It's good to have you here, my friend. Thanks very much for joining us for Gordon Bennett TV. Don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube. We want you to keep following us and bring your messages and bring all your comments through as well. We'll be back with our next show at 1 p.m. this afternoon. But for now, that's a wrap for this show. And back up to the rooftop studio with the boys and Balloon Fiesta Live.
Thanks, Regan.
Got to wait for the bumper music.
I slipped it in quickly before it hit.
I heard you, yeah. Thank you, Regan. It's good to be working with Regan Titlow. The music doesn't go through the okay, we're talking to the truck now. Well,
okay.
It's fun to wait. And, thank you, Regan. It's really great fun to be able to watch. For me, the first time to really watch him work and see the extent of what Gordon Bennett TV does. So this has been kind of interesting and fun to finally get to meet Regan. We've been communicating via social media for a while, but
well, and over the years, Gordon Bennett TV has cultivated that relationship with all of the teams that tend to be in the Gordon Bennett competition. And they worked really hard to get that content, the video content from each of those teams that they're able to share with us.
Yeah.
And so I especially love the last one with pulling out the little vacuum.
Pulling out the little, the battery-powered vacuum there. And the breakfast looked pretty good. I think maybe that was some salmon they were having, possibly.
Those guys, some of those guys eat pretty well on the flight, at least the first days. And then after that, it probably gets a little less. You don't move around. You don't really get so hungry.
No, true.
But yeah, being cramped up there for a few days.
But an MRE doesn't taste good no matter where you are.
That's true.
So if it gets to that point late in the flight, I can appreciate it. But yeah, we're thrilled to be working with Gordon Bennett TV and being able to roll it all into a part of what we do here with Balloon Fiesta Live to bring you that very unique, because this is a very unique opportunity for Balloon Fiesta to host and the Gordon Bennett. And how unique is it that this is the 66th Gordon Bennett and it launches from the historic Route 66.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not the first one to make that connection or mention it, but it just occurred to me yesterday. And so I thought I would bring that up when I had the chance.
It caught me when I first knew that we were going to even bid for it.
I didn't realize it was the 66th until I got here, so that's why I was a little late coming to that idea. But
there are a number of people who did not make that connection.
Oh, really?
Although when they went to actually present the bid, we actually did have a little piece about it being on Route 66. And we had a discussion about how much to talk about Route 66. You're going over to Europe. You're going over to Switzerland. You're going to make this presentation.
How much do they know about it?
How much do they know about it? And the feedback was they know all about it. Through the movies and the song and all that other kind of stuff.
Well, and to belabor the point, I'm sure for some people, in Scotland they have a route called the North Coast 500, and when they first started promoting it, it was promoted across the U.S. and Europe as Scotland's Route 66.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so, they're probably more aware of Route 66 over there than we are of many European things over here, to be honest.
Yeah, of course, That's always been the story, that they're more aware of what we're doing and doing
than we are of what they're doing. Absolutely.
We kind of get self-centric here, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep. We certainly do.
Everything doesn't happen in America, but we sometimes think that it does.
Hey, it's time.
Did you draw the names?
I did.
Okay.
I randomly drew some names to our Balloon Fiesta Live license plate giveaway.
Okay.
And so let me, without further ado, just turn to my
drum roll
number here. And so our first winner in this session is Barb Kissinger from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Next up, Dax Luna from right here in Albuquerque, and Jeremy Scott from Jackson, Michigan.
Outstanding.
The three of you, Barb Kissinger, Dax Luna,
Congratulations.
and Jeremy Scott, you are the latest 3 winners of your very own Balloon Fiesta Live license plate. And again, I'll be in touch with you after Balloon Fiesta to arrange for delivery so that we can get them mailed off to you. Or in Dax's case, maybe we can just deliver it to him, or he can come pick it up.
In each of our first 2 groups of 3, we've had an Albuquerque winner.
We have.
So that's
We've had
cool.
it
A
there,
local person in each of the drawings so far.
So in order for you to get in on the drawing, like the other 1,500 people have so far, probably shouldn't throw that number out. But yeah, I just looked. There was another. There's another.
It's better odds than winning the lottery.
It's still better than
the
winning
Powerball.
the lottery.
So
it
there
sure
you go.
is. There's the QR code on the screen. You can scan that code. Go to that form. Put your contact information in there. We'll be drawing 3 more names for 3 more license plates tonight during our Balloon Glow. Afterglow fireworks, Fast Tracks Pyrotech, Fast Tracks flag.
Yeah, and tonight they will have the pyrotechnics because we won't have the hydrogen balloons on the field.
Yep.
So last night the Team Fast Tracks nighttime jump was just an LED show.
Which was pretty
Which
cool
was
in
pretty cool.
itself.
Yeah, but tonight we'll have LEDs and pyrotechnics. Fire in the sky.
Fire in the sky. So, yeah, so get your name in. We'll have 3 more winning names for license plates later tonight. And we'll the plan is to do 3 every single session.
Every session, okay.
I think my math comes out so that I'll have enough we'll finish them all off on Sunday.
Well, you're not getting mine back.
Nope.
So don't run short.
I planned on you. Well, yeah, we'll adjust otherwise.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, again, the game plan here at the field, we still have a number of balloons out there in the northwestern sky.
A lot of most have landed, but there are still some in the sky out there.
And looks like our RCs have basically put down.
Yeah.
The thermal airship. Oh, there's still a few coming into the field
couple more,
here.
yeah. Well,
they're still out
Cameron
there.
Wall landed while we were doing the Gordon Bennett update while Regan was on air, and that's Tall Steve who's still way out there. Yeah. So there may yet be another landing or 2 here on the field. We'll just have to wait and see.
But we have a band going over there on the stage. We're going to get to listen to that more in just a little bit for those of you here. And, of course, today's a great day to do some official merchandise purchasing. Items are going fast over there, especially some of the Eclipse and Marvin the Martian types of items. So do check out. This is a great day to do that. Pin trading gets underway at 11 o'clock this morning out on the north end of the field. Check out the Sandcastle while you're here, or the Chainsaw Carvers, Balloon Discovery Center, the Artisans all out there. There's a kids zone out there. Lots of things for you to do and see right here at Balloon Fiesta Park. For those of you watching us online, you get to go take care of things and enjoy your neck of the woods, as someone would say.
Right. Whatever might be happening, whether you're across the pond, over in Asia, down under, or right here in the good old USA.
And, of course, if you missed any of our broadcasts, you can go watch them. They're all archived from the last 6 years, and the last yesterday's shows are already linked. The show is actually still there, and then I make a nice convenient link to it as soon as I can get to that at the end of the broadcasts. So some great things happening all around everywhere.
It's been another Chamber of Commerce day, and
Really
the weather
has.
forecast looks to be this good all week long, albeit turning a bit cooler toward the final weekend.
Yeah, you heard Randy Lefevre talk about for the Gordon Bennett guys.
Yeah.
It's good weather all across the country.
All across,
for this,
yeah. High pressure and very few clouds, even for the Gordon Bennett folks going to the east. So, yeah.
So going to be great there. We'll continue to follow that. Of course, you can follow their adventures as well on YB Tracking or on the Gordon Bennett site. So lots of ways to be able to keep up to date. And we'll continue to bring you the live updates from the Gordon Bennett TV guys throughout the time when we're on the air. We'll always check in with them and bring those to you as well.
I mentioned I've got my new Apple Watch, and my wrist started vibrating all of a sudden. I looked down, and I just realized the guy that's building my next bass guitar is just calling. He doesn't realize that I'm on the air broadcasting and can't talk to him at the moment, but which still amazes me because I thought surely that if I didn't hear the alarm on my iPhone that my Apple Watch would wake me up by vibrating on my wrist, but neither one worked. I slept straight smack through my alarm this morning.
Did you? You need to check the Do Not Disturb settings.
Well, it's
or
probably
now
better,
called the focus settings.
It's probably better that it does disturb me today.
I understand, yeah, but
to wake me up.
yeah.
But no,
make sure that you're not on Do Not Disturb.
No,
at that time of the
I was not, and I checked to make sure I didn't have it on silence, because a lot of times I will turn my phone on silent so it will just vibrate, it won't ring, and then I forget. I double checked all that before I went to bed. But it was at 2:30 when I decided to extend the alarm from 3:15 to 3:30. That's the last thing I remember before I woke up at 4 o'clock going, oh, God, what time is it? So I would have thought my watch would have vibrated enough to wake me up. But neither the sound of the alarm or the watch broke through
the sleep
last night. So.
Well, get a nap this afternoon.
I plan to.
And we'll be
back
ready.
this afternoon. Yeah.
Hey, I did see one quick question over here, and
Yeah.
it's probably the most asked question other than, well, probably still the most. How do you go to the bathroom in a gas balloon?
Well, having never been in a gas balloon, I don't have a clue.
Well, I can answer that one because I've been there.
Well, knock yourself out.
Now, granted, my flight was only 14.
And just remember, it's a family show.
My flight was only 14 hours, but we made it in 14 hours. So so we went a whole lot farther than they did because we were farther than they've been.
Yeah.
In the 11 hour, 12 hour, 13 hours that they've been up in the sky. So, but they're getting close. So the idea is, there are these little portable urinals, literally,
Yes, right.
that are available. They're kind of like what you would get in a hospital. So basically, you have that. Now, if you're going number 2, then there's a bucket. And it has a plastic bag in it, and so that's where you're going to end up in there.
Okay.
On a 14-hour flight, you may not be to number 2 yet, but you probably are definitely at number 1. And so you use those urinals or you use the bucket. And then remember, that becomes ballast.
Ballast to be overthrown.
When you need to get rid of ballast, not this time of day, because you're going up already, so you don't need to get any lighter. When you start coming down at night to stop that descent, that's when you're going to get rid of the ballast. So that then becomes the ballast, and of course you can see what's on the ground below. So you pick a more opportune,
A nondescript spot, yes.
Yes, to release some of the ballast.
But therein lies a tip that you'll only get on Balloon Fiesta Live if, in the next few days, you happen to find a strange, unknown plastic bag on your lawn. Be careful.
Especially if you were in the track of our Gordon Bennett balloons. And do remember, they are not spy balloons.
That's right.
They are not spy balloons. They are in a competition, so if they're coming your way, make sure you look for them and tell all your friends.
There's
and
not
neighbors.
even a Chinese team participating in the event, so there's no spying going on in these balloons. Yeah.
Well, and with that, it's time to say good morning. We'll be back later tonight.
We will.
I'm Art Lloyd Jr. He's Glen Moyer. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in a little bit.
Bye-bye.
You've been watching Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by ExxonMobil. This is the 51st edition of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, the world's premier ballooning event, and the 66th Gordon Bennett Coupe Aeronautique. Want more balloon action? Visit the archive of Balloon Fiesta Live broadcasts at balloonfiesta.com. Thanks for watching Balloon Fiesta Live. This program is a production of AIBF Inc.
It was an escapism.